Well, with each passing weeks, the games get just more and more important, and now there is so much more on the line as we go into week number 9, and we've got all the action for you right here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. Hello and welcome into the NTTV studios on the campus of the University of North Texas. Nick Laupius alongside Ish Johnson, who is back on the desk with us this week. And of course, it's always great to have you back, and a lot of very exciting games. But this is week number 9 now, only a few weeks left in the regular season, and just so many things to sort out in terms of district standings and playoff potential matchups.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the week that you settle playoff standings, you settle district championships, you figure out who's going to have to battle for home field advantage or who's hosting in 6A, things like that. The divisions in 6A as well. This is going to be a wild last couple of weeks because, this is it, right? If you're on the cusp, you're trying to figure out, okay, am I going to get that 4th place spot? Or this is also when you figure out the tiebreakers.
Yeah.
We mentioned some crazy tiebreakers going on across the state. We'll figure out a bunch because every district has their own. We'll figure out a bunch over the next couple of weeks, so that should be even more fun.
And of course, a lot of these spotlight games, some huge implications on and off the field. You talk about seeding and all that. But we take a look now at the week number 9 spotlight games as we've got Hampshire Fette taking on Silsby, Shadow Creek and Pearland Dawson. Again, a couple of undefeated matchups here on our spotlight games. Midlothian taking on Lake Belton. How about Lake Travis and Dripping Springs? A very exciting matchup. Longview taking on McKinney North, and Paradise taking on Brock. The week 9 spotlight games, and a couple of the voices that will be on the calls for those games joining us later tonight. We have Russell Mabin and Jawahir Thompson on the Midlothian versus Lake Belton game. James Wiggins on SETX Sports for Hampshire Fette and Silsby. James Tritley on the call for Longview and McKinney North. Ryan Fox on the headset for Paradise versus Brock. So again, some of the best voices on the call for some of our spotlight games. They'll be joining us throughout the night as their games get into the halftime break. Always great talking to those guys, getting the feel for the action right there from the booth. But again, we take a look, a lot of very exciting matchups in our spotlight games, but kind of switching up. I know a lot of these already playoff, implications, sure. But what are one or two that are really intriguing to you in terms of playoff seeding and playoff matchups?
Yeah, Hampshire, Fette, and Silsby. One, it's going to determine the district, I believe, but also that's a style matchup, right? Hampshire, Fette, kind of a more balanced ground-based attack versus Silsby, who loves to air it out to Draylen Mill and Ashton Cartwright. I do want to give some love to Paradise and Brock because Brock started 0-3. They play one of the toughest non-district schedules in the state, probably the toughest pound for pound. Paradise, undefeated, 8-0, has a chance to win, I believe, their first state title in a while. Wow. Brock dominated this district last year. They've dominated the district up to now. I believe they lost this game. Paradise lost this game close, 18-13 last year. So we'll see. This may be one of the biggest Paradise games in recent memory because they could really put themselves on the map. They're number 5, and I know they're technically ranked higher, but people kind of assume Brock's just going to roll through this district, get the higher ranking, and then make it into the playoffs. So if the Panthers can pull off this upset, in my opinion, it's still an upset, even though they're ranked higher. I think they're going to really make some noise around the state.
Yeah, so again, should be really exciting. And of course, we always have a few games that always seem to go down to the wire, hoping for more of the same tonight, and again, including some of those things we talked about, throughout the year, even some tiebreakers and figuring that stuff out. But of course, a lot of that seeding in the balance as we go into week number 9. Some great matchups here Friday night, but of course, a big showdown down in Katy last night with some big seeding implications as Katy Jordan taking on Katy Taylor. We take you to the highlights of that game. What was a very fun game, and of course, this one went down to the wire as well. We start out in the first quarter. This is going to be Colin Willits and finding junior wide receiver Andrew Marsh 43 yards for the touchdown catch, and Jordan gets up early, 7-0. Of course, they're kind of bursting onto the scene this year. Jumping ahead to the second quarter, it's a 14-7 lead for Jordan, but this is going to be the senior quarterback Daniel Burns connecting. What a grab by Jeremy McCollum as he goes 82 yards, touchdown grab. That tied the game at 14. A big throw by Daniel Burns connecting with Jeremy McCulloch to tie the game at 14 at the half. Going into the third now, this is going to be Josiah Rodriguez the senior cornerback. How about 65 yards, breaking a tackle. He's got blockers, a pick six as Katy Taylor takes the lead 21-14 in the third quarter. So a big pick six for Josiah Rodriguez as we go staying into the third. Colin Willits again, and this time he dishes it out to Andrew Marsh. 36-yard connection for the grab. 24-21, Katy Taylor in the third quarter. And on the ensuing kickoff, Katy Taylor getting it back up by 3. And this is going to be the junior wideout, Cameron Green, who fields it from the 10-yard line, finds a seam, bouncing off some tacklers, and here we go. The afterburners are on. No one's going to get to him. How about that for a response-ish as he goes 90 yards. Katy Taylor getting the lead, growing that lead again, makes it 30-21 in the fourth quarter as Katy Jordan, not a whole lot of time left, under a minute to go, trying to get a little bit closer, perhaps tie it or take the lead, throwing to the end zone, and it's going to be Cyrus Reyes with the interception. How about the heads-up play here as well? He kind of waits and tries to take off as much time as possible. That was with 20 seconds left. And how about the big win for Katy Taylor, 30-24 over the Warriors of Katy Jordan. Eric Folkerts and James Streitley were on the call for that classic.
Eric Folkerts and James Kovaleski at Rhodes Stadium for tonight's matchup between the Jordan Warriors and Katy Taylor Mustangs. Both teams came into this one 4-1, and we expected a high-powered offense of the Jordan Warriors versus the Taylor Mustangs defense.
Yeah, we kind of got everything that we were hoping for, Eric. And I mean, Andrew Marsh, got to start there. Every bit as good as advertised, 40-plus offers. He started the scoring, 2 touchdowns right off the bat, and he was the one that the Warriors went to try to win the game in the end zone there at the end.
Both teams had 14 points heading into the half. Taylor Mustangs took the lead on a field goal at the beginning of the third quarter, and then got a pick six that widened the lead to 10, and they were able to hold the Warriors off, despite the fact that the Warriors had multiple chances down the stretch to score tying touchdowns.
Yeah, I thought Katy Taylor did a really good job making some halftime adjustments. They took their outside linebackers and they played them wider to try to nullify a little bit of that explosive Jordan passing attack, and it helped. It helped to an extent, but it kind of slowed them down. Couldn't fully stop them, but it contained them and gave them the chance to win the ball game.
Jordan Warriors did come into this one missing a couple of their big stars. Chad Gasper did not play tonight. Also did not have the needs of 2 wide receivers, the starting wide receivers. So a little handcuffed, but nonetheless, Andrew Marsh came up big for the Jordan Warriors. 3 touchdown passes tonight.
Yeah, and I do want to give a special shout out to Cyrus Reyes, the senior. They went to Marsh on a jump ball in the end zone, and Reyes went up with them. It was a clash of titans there. 2 great players, but it was Reyes that came away with the ball. Very smartly killed a good 10-15 seconds just running around in the end zone, and it led that was the game-sealing play to give the Mustangs the victory.
Coach Simmons and the Katy Taylor Mustangs take this one and move into second place in District 19 6A. From Rhodes Stadium for Coach James Kovaleski, I am Eric Folkerts. For Dave Campbell's TexanLive.com.
And real quick, just a quick correction. That was actually James Kolowaski on the call along with Eric Folkerts. But, man, that is a huge win and a big loss. I mean, again, we're talking about Katy Jordan, very close against Katy a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And this was an instant classic, but that's a huge win for Taylor.
Yeah, it captures Taylor's first, I believe, playoff berth since 2020. I believe that was the Bryce Foster team that made the playoff run. And yeah, we thought Katy Jordan was kind of turning a corner. I think they still are, right? Compared to last year, I think they have taken a step forward. But this now puts them, it's not a guaranteed playoff berth anymore, right? This puts them in 4th place behind Cinco Ranch and Katy Taylor, who clinched the 2nd place spot behind Katy. And all of a sudden, okay, now they're kind of on the back heel now. I believe this also sends Katy Division I, potentially, because I think Cinco Ranch and Katy Taylor are smaller schools, so that makes Katy one of the larger schools in the district. For those of you that don't know, 6A, you get divided in divisions by enrollment. So this had some off-field implications that kind of now shake up a little bit of the D1 standings because we're so used to Katy going D2 a lot of the time. So massive win for Katy Taylor, though. They were able to hold Colin Willits, who's the breakout quarterback for Jordan. Went into this game with 2 interceptions. He threw 2 interceptions in this game. The defensive line gave him trouble all night. So credit to Katy Taylor as well for clinching their playoff spot, but also just overall a good game plan.
Yeah, Katy Taylor moves now to 5-1 in district play, that big win over Katy Jordan. So a great showdown from Thursday night. We have some more action from last night as well as UNT commit Cash McCollum. He's been lighting up defenses all year long. Well, does he have another big game in him? We'll take a look at that on the other side of the break as you are watching week number 9 of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight.
There's only one state in the nation with 13 Division I FBS programs, and there's only one podcast that talks about every single one of them. Introducing the Dave Campbell's Republic of Football podcast, the most complete coverage of the Lone Star State. Join host Ishmael Johnson, Carter Yates, and Mallory Hartley live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. for the biggest news and weekly previews on all Texas FBS programs. Can't catch every college football game on Saturdays? We've got you covered with recap episodes Sunday mornings with senior writer Mike Craven checking in. Subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Apple. Strap in with your host Ishmael Johnson, producer Mallory Hartley, senior writer Mike Craven, and college writer Carter Yates for a ride that'll last from now throughout the season.
Need your daily football fix? Look no further than Texas Football Today, the daily live show from the people that bring you Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Every weekday at noon, Greg Tepper and Ashley Pickle bring you the latest news, deep dive analysis, insightful interviews with big-name guests, and more. And if you ever miss an episode, you can subscribe to the Texas Football Today podcast to keep up with all the fun. Don't miss Texas Football Today every weekday at noon at texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and subscribe to Texas Football Today wherever you get your podcasts. Nobody covers Texas high school football like Tep and Step, the premium high school football podcast from Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Dig deep into the sport in every corner of the state with high school football insider Matt Stepp and managing editor Greg Tepper, with game previews, unique insights, and bold predictions. Get Tep and Step by becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at texasfootball.com/subscribe.
We might not be good at many things, but there is one thing that we crushed, and that's naming a stinking podcast. WTF. Yes, it's exactly what you're thinking. Women talking football. Oh, you thought it meant something else? You might be right. Tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. as me, Ashley Pickle, and everyone's favorite Mal pal, Mallory Hartley, bring you in-depth analysis of every region of the Lone Star State, talk ball with reporters across Texas, get the real scoop from coaches' wives, and all the other nonsense that comes along with the two of us being allowed to talk into a microphone. Join the party Thursdays at 2 o'clock on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football YouTube page.
Let's go to Tarleton now. We're going to see China Spring versus Stevenville in our second spotlight game from this Thursday. We're going to start off here in the first quarter. It's going to be senior quarterback Cash McCollum behind center. He's going to find junior wide receiver Grayson Smith in the end zone. Great little dot there to put China Spring up early, 7-0. We're going to stay here because Stevenville has a quick answer for this touchdown as we see them hand the ball back to the ref. It's going to be Bryson Powell right up the middle. Powers through, still muscling, and you're just going to see absolute willpower pushing him into the end zone. 8-yard run. That's the toughest 8 yards you're going to probably see all night. Tied at 7. This one's a physical one. Second quarter, Stevenville again on the goal line. It's Powell again, this time from 2 yards out, untouched. Nice little lane there from the offensive line and clearing the way for him. 14-7 at the half for Stevenville. We're going to take it to the second half now. This is going to be, spoiler alert, Bryson Powell again up the middle. Look at those blockers right through the middle of the defense. Almost untouched. Gives the ball back to the refs. Nice little gentlemanly move right there. 21-7, and you can see how this one's going again. This one's Tate Maruska, though. Oh, excuse me, that was Tate Maruska on the carry for that touchdown to put Stevenville up 28-7 on number 4 China Spring. But Cash McCollum's not going to go away quietly. As you see, scrambles away, avoids pressure, somehow gets the ball down to Kyle Barton, 49 yards, makes a move, spins out of another. Can he get through 2 defenders? Oh, he's not even going to need to go through him. He's going to go around him all the way to the other end. A great block there at the end. Nice clean block, 49-yard touchdown for him. And China Spring is not out of this just yet. Fourth quarter, Cash McCollum again. Here we go. Under some pressure. No, just kidding. It's clean pocket right there. Dot in the end zone. 10-yard touchdown. 31-21. But unfortunately, that will be it for China Spring. Stevenville will hold on to the big win. Let's go to Drake Toll and Cameron Stewart, who are on the call.
Stevenville over China Spring 31-21 in a Thursday spotlight game. We couldn't record this video at the stadium. We had to get to a certain Southwest fast food chain. No free advertisements. Cam, it wasn't just the offense, the defense of Stevenville was just domination. They led from effectively the jump, went on a 28-0 run in the middle of this ball game and flat out beat China Spring.
Yeah, Stevenville did something we haven't really seen against the Cougs all year, and that's put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
McCollum sacked 2 times and was rushed out of the pocket on just about every drop back, which is just not something we've seen this year, something they had to adjust to, and the offense, because of that, was stagnant for 3 quarters. Comeback falls just short, but a lot of tweaks need to be made, especially defensively. But offensive line got beat up pretty good tonight.
I think one of the things you take away from this, obviously a huge game for the postseason, for where you're going to be when you face Salina or Anna, or down the road talking your Brownwood, Decatur. But my biggest takeaway, even past that, is how good Stevenville is. I mean, it seems like they're clicking at the right time.
Absolutely, and they're such a more well-rounded team than we saw last year. That had so much firepower offensively, but defensively they were a sieve. And they actually probably don't have the explosiveness that they had on offense last season, but that defense came to play today. They're legit.
Stevenville 31, China Spring 21. Impressive win for the Yellow Jackets at home tonight.
Yeah, maybe a new post-game sponsor.
I was about to say, if a certain fast food chain wants to give us some money, we can absolutely record it. We can record the show in front of that restaurant.
I like that idea. Hey, nothing wrong with some baby back ribs, right?
Listen. We'll just say, look, we'll just throw it out there, right? There was a little tease of an advertisement. When they want to throw some money, we're here.
We're just putting it out there, putting the idea out there. Anyway, but I mean, a big top 10 showdown, and you heard from them. I mean, you haven't really seen a whole lot of teams get a lot of pressure on Cash McCollum, and they got out early, and they didn't have to do a whole lot there, especially in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
the one thing that Cameron Stewart hit on a little bit was those state championship China Spring teams were kind of hinged on defense, right? Obviously, Cash McCollum, and then before him, Major Bowden kind of were the stars of those teams, but that defense was always so nails that even if Cash wasn't having his best game, they knew they're only going to give him like 14 or so. This defense looks fine, but not necessarily up to that caliber. Now, credit Stevenville, their defensive line looked incredible. Cash McCollum was rolling out for his life a ton of that game, and I mean, it basically comes down to that, right? I think Stevenville had the size advantage, and I think the offensive line for China Spring just could not really handle that front 4, sometimes front 7. So I want to give credit to Stevenville as well, but I still think this China Spring team, both teams, we're gonna be talking about well into November.
Yep. Yeah, so a big win last night for Stevenville over China Spring. And again, one of the great parts about Texas high school football, you get to see so many different parts of the great Lone Star State. And again, that is featured in our latest edition of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Travel Vlog right here.
What's up, y'all? It's Thursday, week 8 of the Texas high school football season. And I'm out here in beautiful East Texas for a rare Thursday night matchup out here in East Texas in Class 2A Division I as the Beckville Bearcats, the red-hot Beckville Bearcats, travel north to Ore City to take on surprising Ore City in a big district matchup in 2A Division I. Both teams are unbeaten in district play. Beckville at the moment sits at 5-1. They've won 5 in a row since their season opening loss to Timpson. While Ore City under first-year head coach Kyle Adams is a very surprising 4-2 in the season and 3-0 in district play. Should be a good one here on Thursday night in the Piney Woods. Looking forward to watching it, so let's have a great week 8.
Williams with a keeper.
Best part about the weather getting cold? Frito pie. Yeah, buddy. Just got the Granberry, and before I can even get in the press box, they sent me here to grab some Babe's fried chicken. Not a bad pregame meal at all. It's gonna go down. A little pregame here in Granberry. Got the Granberry Pirates here at beautiful Pirate Stadium, and the late Belton Broncos. Little sun. There's the visitor stands. Should be a great Friday night of football. Great weather. Headed to San Antonio for a doubleheader. We're going to start at Alamo Stadium, San Antonio McCollum, and San Antonio Sam Houston. Southwest Airlines is going to get us there safely, and then we'll be watching some football. Let's go. We're about an hour before kickoff here in San Antonio, one of my favorite stadiums in Texas. Historic Alamo Stadium, the Rock Pile. We got a big 14-5A Division II matchup between the McCollum Cowboys and the Sam Houston Hurricanes. Huge game for playoff positioning in this very competitive district. Should be a fun one. Got the Sotomayor Wildcats going through a little pregame here. Big game tonight versus Taft. Potential playoff spot is on the line tonight. And we got the Taft Raiders doing some pregame here. Beautiful Ferris Stadium in San Antonio.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texas Army National Guard are honored to present the Coach of the Week Award, celebrating one head coach in 7 different classifications. That's 6A all the way down to 6-man, and of course, private school every single week. Think your head coach deserves some recognition? Nominate them under our weekly Twitter and Facebook post. Those will come out Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 8:30 p.m., and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's facebook.com/Dave Campbell's or at DCTF on Twitter. Thank you to Texas Army National Guard for helping spotlight the hard work and dedication of high school head coaches across Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Ozarka will announce 7 Team of the Week winners for 14 weeks of the Texas high school football season from Class 6A down to 6-man and including private schools. Head to texasfootball.com, go to the awards tab, and find Ozarka Team of the Week to see this season's winners and vote for your program to be named. Winners are announced every Wednesday on Twitter and Facebook.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Panini America are teaming up this season to honor the best high school quarterbacks across the state of Texas. 7 quarterbacks, 1 in each classification, 1A through 6A in private schools, will be named Quarterback of the Week and will receive a virtual Panini America trading card to commemorate their performance. Check out which outstanding quarterback was selected each Tuesday morning on the Dave Campbell's Twitter and Facebook pages.
Welcome back to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. Texas Football Tonight. I said it right. I don't know. It's a weird night.
You can sometimes say words. It's fine.
All right, we take a look at now 1A D2. A couple of scores here. Well, not a whole lot of scores. A lot of zeros up there. A lot of bagels on the score. Yeah, we got a score. There we go. Hey, we're seeing this for the first time too, folks. But yeah, we got some of these top matchups going down here, and imagine we'll start seeing some offense as the night rolls on. All right, so again, taking a look at some of those, just to give you a better update of some of the playoff pictures. We're already in week number 9, only a few weeks left in the regular season. Playoff implications, it's a lot of fun. We got some highlights going right now as we'll take a look. We got Maid Creek taking on Tompkins. First half highlights rolling in now, as again, they're going to start rolling in, but we got Maid Creek. They have it on their own 35. How about a little play action, the fake handoff, and Cole Jensen able to roll out in traffic, and that's picked off by Tompkins, though. A big play, looked like number 33, ending the first drive for Maid Creek, and they respond, Tompkins does, with Caleb Blocker taking the handoff right up the middle, 7-0. Tompkins on the board first, and a big throw, and how about that for a diving catch? Trey Williams, the connection with Chad Nelson, that's 30 yards right there for Nelson. That sets up Tompkins in the red zone. Going into the second quarter, Creek looking to put some points up on the board, and as a snap is blocked, the field goal is blocked rather. 7-0, still the score in favor of Tompkins. And how about Wyatt Young this time taking the snap, another play action, and the whole defense gets caught off guard. 35-yard run for Tompkins, and that makes it 14-0 into the second quarter. On the 35-yard line now, shot, gun, snap, and how about this? A huge grab bursting through the line, hurdles a defender. How about that? I mean, that is just everything for the 35-yard grab or 35-yard run, and then they end it off with a nice touchdown run right there. So some acrobatic plays early on, and that's a pretty nice lead so far for Katy Tompkins.
A little bit on that game, by the way. So Tompkins now, if they win this, they'll be 4-2, tied with Katy Jordan, who they get next week.
Wow.
So this could potentially, they got to hold on to this one. Maid Creek, I believe, is technically out of the picture, I think. But this one for Katy Tompkins, there's a lot to play for. As we see, is this Bryant Wesco right now? For
taking it to the house. Wow, that's a bit of a surprising score early on. Midlothian is going to have a 2-possession lead here in the second quarter.
Okay, how about that?
You're talking about that Katy Jordan, Katy Tompkins matchup next week. We got some big matchups coming up next week. It's just a little bit of a teaser. We'll stay with that. But yeah, that's Bryant Wesco.
So
we take a look at some of those stats.
This is probably, I mean, honestly, this is the best receiver matchup in the state today between Lake Belton and Midlothian. Bryant Wesco, basically the two top receivers in the state in Bryant Wesco and, of course, Micah Hudson. Bryant Wesco committed to Clemson about in the summer, and then, of course, Micah Hudson recently committed to Texas Tech. I mean, the fact that these two guys are in the same district and we get to watch them on the same channel and the same network, hint, hint, go subscribe, go watch if you want to. It's spoiling us, basically, as we take a look at the district standings here. I mean, Red Oak, of course, right now in first, but Midlothian has a chance to they're not out of it, right? They're still 5-0 as well. But Lake Belton still also can force a three-way tie, depending on, of course, what happens with Red Oak if they can beat Midlothian. Of course, they have one loss already, so they need some help. But regardless, this is a huge battle right now in District 4 5A. And I mean, if you're into star power, this has it, right? I mean, you're going to see probably Selman Bridges from Lake Belton line up on Bryant Wesco a little bit. So if you're a recruiting fan, if you're a football fan, you got the playoff implications, you got the future stars of Saturday and Sunday playing. This one, it doesn't get much better than this game. Yeah, taking a look at some of the other scores here. We got Dripping Springs, Lake Travis, so Brock and Paradise. Brock with a lead there in the first quarter. So yeah, a couple of exciting games. And real quick, going back to that vlog we saw a little bit earlier, we saw some of those, we got Babe's Chicken on one of those. This is going to be my challenge to the broadcasters on Texan Live. I want to start seeing some of those pics. We want to see those press box eats, as Ish was saying during the break. I want to start seeing those. It'll be a fun little segment because, I mean, we get some pretty good press box food around the state. Working with Matt Stepp for as long as I have now, you know that you're guaranteed one thing every week. It's that he'll go to a game no matter where it is, but also that he will show you what they're serving at that game. Because he can eat beforehand and he'll still be like, well, it's free at the press box, so I'm going to have something here too. So that's all. That would be legitimately really cool because there are, like, if you literally go to any game and you tell Matt Stepp, he'll be like, oh, they have blank. Because everybody has their own little touch, right? East Texas, you're going to get some East Texas food. South, in the Valley, you may get some Mexican food, some Tex-Mex, whatever. Sometimes you'll get a chain. Sometimes it's a good chain, right? It doesn't matter. But that's a nice challenge. I like that because that does give a little bit of the personality of each of the school districts. So are you saying that Matt Stepp is kind of a walking encyclopedia when it comes to press box food? A little bit. It's an encyclopedia when it comes to anything football, and this is tangentially football. And so, yes, part of it is included in that. All right, so anyway, yes, we want to see those pictures of the press box food every week. Honestly, if you're at a game on Twitter, at us.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, look, if you're a reporter at a game, hey, look, here's the spread. Let's
There we
go.
go. I like it.
I'm down to. I was a reporter once. I love when they got food. Not everybody has food, so it is a nice surprise when you do walk in and it's like, Babe's Chicken or something like that. So.
All right, well, going back to the action on the field, I guess I let us on too far
I
of
can
a
also
tangent.
keep talking food for a while. It's fine, but.
I don't know if they want us doing that in the control room, but yeah, they're cutting us off now. They're
telling
taking
us to go to
game
Hampshire,
action.
Silsby,
But
is
again,
fine.
yeah,
This is
a
gonna be a really good game.
Both these teams undefeated-ish.
Yes, 100%. I mentioned this is a clash of styles as well. Hampshire Fette, their front seven in particular is going to be a strength of theirs. Their secondary really is going to struggle. I think is going to struggle a little bit. Of course, when you play Draylon Miller and Ashton Cartwright, anybody's going to struggle. But this one's going to be, can the front seven get to Michael Hamshire, Silsby's quarterback? Can they pressure him to where their secondary doesn't have to guard those elite wide receivers too much? Of course, on the other end, it's going to be about holding on to the ball, right? It's going to be about keeping that offense of Silsby's off the field to limit their explosive plays. Because, I mean, last year, I believe, I can remember this game last year, but Silsby's only put up less than 35 points once this year.
Yeah.
Right? So this is an explosive offense that nobody's been able to figure out. So, one, you want to disrupt it as much as you can, but also you may just want to keep the ball away from them.
Yeah, and also secondaries for both these teams. They've forced a handful of turnovers, a lot of interceptions for both these defenses, so it'll be interesting to see. You're talking about that Silsby offense averaging 42 points a game this season. This is another one you were talking about earlier, Paradise and Brock.
Yes.
And that's going to be a good one. Brock with the 6-point lead there in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, last year, everybody at the DCTF office kept saying Brock's the best 0-3 team in the state. Because they were. They were playing Wimberly and Wichita Falls Hirsch, teams bigger than them. Gunner, I believe, what they played as well. And, of course, they started 0-3 because they're all ranked, and some of them are divisions higher, classifications higher. But then they just rolled through the district, and we're like, they're going to roll through the district. And it happened last year. It started to happen this year. But Paradise is proving themselves to be a potential state contender, and this is kind of the prove-it game for them if they're able to really make some noise. I think Brock, I don't want to say they get comfortable because they are one of the better teams in the state consistently over the past couple of years, as you see here.
And they love to run the ball, too.
They love to run the ball, but also the past couple of years, they have thrown the ball more than they had in the past. Under Chad Worrell, they were very, I believe, almost like a power T team, barely running the ball. But ever since Billy Mathis came in from Weatherford, they've thrown the ball a little bit more. Brody Woods is a pretty good quarterback as well, over 1,000 yards passing. So they're a balanced attack, but definitely lean very much on the run in this year.
And again, their defense, they like to get to the quarterback. 17 sacks on the year for them.
Yep.
So, they come at you from both ways, but that's going to be a fun one to keep up with all night long. Again, one of our spotlight games, and just week number 9, just so exciting. It's just so many implications. I mean, you're talking tiebreakers, playoffs, well, seeding, and all those things.
Yeah, we still have 2 more weeks of the regular season, but this is when you start to run out of it starts to basically become like all or nothing, right? Like we mentioned Katy Jordan, right? They're running out of chances now they're really slipping, and now they got a must win against Katy Tompkins. If Tompkins wins, if you're Katy, now it's like, okay, we're probably going D1. So like I don't know how they prepare for that, but like we're starting to figure out scenarios basically is what I'm trying to say. But also you're running out of wiggle room, right? You're starting to have less and less. Sometimes you're going to need help, right? I mentioned Lake Belton now. They have 1 loss in district. Okay, well, they can't win district unless now Red Oak loses. So they're running out of chances to like really make cases for themselves or room for themselves without getting a little bit of help now. And this week is kind of the last week of that, because now we mentioned some of the critical games next week and then in week 11 where, okay, that's completely out of the picture.
Yeah, and you look the bottom right box of the screen there, Lake Belton, the offense trying to get something going, but this Midlothian front 4 doing a good job of getting a lot of pressure, and of course,
as I see right there, Micah Hudson gets the ball and he's able to.
Well, it's never a bad call to.
I was about to turn
put
the
in
loss
the
of 3 into about a gain of 3. It looked like, definitely not a bad call just to get the 5-star of the ball early.
And again, we saw a couple of weeks ago, we saw the highlight of him stiff arming a defender and juking out. Yeah, I mean, the guy is insane. So it's never a bad call to put it in his hands.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I believe he has over 100 rushing yards on the year as they go to him again. And looked like that one fell. Did he catch that one? Yeah, he caught that one.
Wow.
I thought that one fell incomplete. I should know better than that. It never falls incomplete
Exactly.
when they throw to Micah Hudson.
Exactly. So, yeah, a couple of those scores, those offenses getting rolling, and then the other one, Silsby and Hampshire Fette, no score, but looks like they've got an offense kind of marching down inside the 25-yard line. We're just in the first half of a lot of these games, just getting underway, but it should be a lot of fun all night long, some big-time showdowns for week number 9. Now we'll take you live on the call, Brock and Paradise.
So 2nd down and 9 from the 19-yard line. 40 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. Iglesias, play clock down to 10. Takes the snap, Brock sends blitz under immediate pressure, and the ball comes out, and the ball's still loose. Iglesias picks it up, and he's got some room. No, he's going to throw it, and wide open is Colley for the Paradise touchdown. What a wild play and exchange that was. Iglesias fumbled the football, recovered it, rolled out to his right, and then hurled it to a wide open Landon Hawley for his 2nd touchdown of the night. And it's all tied up with 19 seconds left to go, as Paradise lining up in the gate formation once again. And it looks like they will bring out the extra point unit. Play clock down to 10. Coming in to attempt the extra point again will be number 19, Cooper Woodard. The left-footed kicker, play clock down to 3, snap the hold. The kick is up, and it's good. With 19 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Paradise takes their first lead of the night. It's 14-13. You're going to want to stick around for this one, folks. Fireworks all over the field in the first quarter of play. Big plays galore. And it is now a 1-point game in favor of the visiting Paradise Panthers. Dave Campbell's text live is always.
When we were watching that issue, you were asking, was that even legal?
I was about to say, I couldn't tell if it was an incomplete pass or a fumble, or was that an illegal forward pat? I guess it stood, obviously, but from my angle at least, I was like, is the play still going on? So, incredible play to close the first quarter for Paradise, because Brock was potentially in position to take control up 14-0.
And the shout out to Colin Brown, who's on the call for that one, and he did a great job kind of staying calm and collected on that call. I wouldn't have known what to say in that situation.
That may be one of the craziest plays we've seen all year.
Wow, so there you go. Paradise now with the 1-point lead. Sounds like it's been a really wild back and forth.
I think that was just on the board.
Oh, okay, there we go. All right. So, we are now joined by Eddie Cox, who's on the call for Alvin Shadow Creek and Pearland Dawson. Eddie, again, thank you so much for joining us. Just kind of take us through that first half.
Hey, how's it going, fellas? Man, this is a defensive struggle. I mean, one I haven't seen all year long. You think about Shadow Creek, Brad Butler, and then you think about Bryce Burgess and all the weapons that Dawson has. You think there's going to be some points out there, but this game's been all about the defenses. The offenses, they've been playing in between the 20s. Nobody's been in the red zone this entire game. So I'm looking forward to see what kind of adjustments they're going to make at halftime to try to see how they can get some of these playmakers loose, because there's all kinds of talent out on the field, but no points on the scoreboard yet.
Has there been any, in your opinion, any close calls, or who do you kind of expect to come out, aggressive and kind of be the first one to hit the scoreboard?
Well, I think it's going to be Dawson, and here's the deal. They've had some formations where they've set up where they're unbalanced on one side, trying to set up. It was Noah Rhodes, but between him and Braylon Howard, they're going to try to get one of those guys one-on-one on the corner with Shadow Creek's secondary on the outside. And they had a shot earlier, and Gage Green just narrowly missed Noah Rhodes. But between those two guys, I think it's going to be Dawson that strikes first.
In my opinion, so Dawson, of course, started the year 0-3, and now they've gone on a 4-0 run. What have you kind of noticed from them in this game against their toughest challenge in Shadow Creek?
Well, I noticed they're sticking with the run game. That front seven for Shadow Creek, they're tough. Led by Zion Taylor. We all know he's going to U of H. It's really tough to find running room in there. And then you've got these high-flying secondary players coming in, delivering hard hits, low in the legs. But they're sticking with the run game. They're trying to try to get some things open on the edge for that when the Gage Green breaks the pocket, a lot of times that's when they have their success. When he's able to get out on the edge, the play breaks down. That's where they've been able to find some of their biggest plays. The only problem is the speed of that Shadow Creek secondary has been able to stay in the hip pocket with these Dawson receivers all evening long, and they're really missing Rodney Bonham. I mean, he's come on strong as of late. He had 2 weeks ago, he had two punt returns for a touchdown. They've mixed him in at running back and at receiver, so they're missing that part of their offense. But I don't know where they go from here, aside from just trying to take some deep shots down the field, and then maybe that opens stuff up the middle for Burgess. It's been real tough sledding for him tonight.
Eddie Cox, again, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you enjoy the rest of your halftime break, and we'll see which offense gets rolling first in that game. Looks like a very fun defensive struggle so far. A little bit surprising. I know both defenses are very solid, but there's a lot of star power on both those offenses, so a little bit shocking to see a couple of zeros up there.
100%. Shadow Creek, now I should mention, Shadow Creek's come into this game, I believe, pitching 3 consecutive shutouts, right? But Pearland Dawson, 4-0, despite starting 0-3 on the season. They're in first place in the district at 4-3 because those 4 wins have all been in district. Of course, Shadow Creek has a loss, so they're at 3-1. By far, each team's toughest challenge in the district, but yeah, I mean, this one feels like a chess match right now, right? Trying to figure out exactly who can set the edge, who can really get the run fits going, and just like absolutely whoever breaks first, right? It's going to be one of those games where it may be 14-10, 14-7, 10-7, right? We're looking at something very low scoring in this one.
Yeah. That's always fun. I don't know. What do you prefer? Do you like seeing those defensive struggles? I kind of like seeing the offenses really sling it out.
I do too. I'm more of an offensive fan, but I do like for me, I don't know if you remember the Chiefs-Chargers game or Rams game from a couple years ago, where it was like 56-40 something, but like there was like 2 pick sixes and like a false scoop and score. So like I like a little bit of some defense, or I don't like it all just 800 yards of total offense, right? Give me a pick six, give me some sacks here and there. But this one, 0-0, we'll see. I'm trying to see. That's definitely not my cup of tea. But like I said, the coaches are okay with it as long as they're holding the other team as well.
Yeah, so again, we'll have to wait and see which offense is finally able to break through in that second half. Should be a lot of fun. But again, the action just getting underway in week number 9 of the Texas high school football season. So much to sort out. We're with you every step of the way. So you're watching week number 9 of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight.
There's only one state in the nation with 13 Division I FBS programs, and there's only one podcast that talks about every single one of them. Introducing the Dave Campbell's Republic of Football podcast, the most complete coverage of the Lone Star State. Join host Ishmael Johnson, Carter Yates, and Mallory Hartley live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. for the biggest news and weekly previews on all Texas FBS programs. Can't catch every college football game on Saturdays? We've got you covered with recap episodes Sunday mornings with senior writer Mike Craven checking in. Subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Apple. Strap in with your host Ishmael Johnson, producer Mallory Hartley, senior writer Mike Craven, and college writer Carter Yates for a ride that'll last from now throughout the season.
Need your daily football fix? Look no further than Texas Football Today, the daily live show from the people that bring you Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Every weekday at noon, Greg Tepper and Ashley Pickle bring you the latest news, deep dive analysis, insightful interviews with big-name guests, and more. And if you ever miss an episode, you can subscribe to the Texas Football Today podcast to keep up with all the fun. Don't miss Texas Football Today every weekday at noon at texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and subscribe to Texas Football Today wherever you get your podcasts. Nobody covers Texas high school football like Tep and Step, the premium high school football podcast from Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Dig deep into the sport in every corner of the state with high school football insider Matt Stepp and managing editor Greg Tepper, with game previews, unique insights, and bold predictions. Get Tep in Step by becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at texasfootball.com/subscribe.
We might not be good at many things, but there is one thing that we crushed, and that's naming a stinking podcast. WTF. Yes, it's exactly what you're thinking. Women talking football. Oh, you thought it meant something else? You might be right. Tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. as me, Ashley Pickle, and everyone's favorite Mal pal, Mallory Hartley, bring you in-depth analysis of every region of the Lone Star State, talk ball with reporters across Texas, get the real scoop from coaches' wives, and all the other nonsense that comes along with the two of us being allowed to talk into a microphone. Join the party Thursdays at 2 o'clock on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football YouTube page.
Well, we have some big-time showdowns tonight in our spotlight games, and a huge one in 7-5A. This is Longview and McKinney North. Both these teams undefeated in district play. They're vying it out for that top spot. This game is at halftime as now we welcome in James and Alex, who are on the call from McKinney, Texas, and Longview jumping out to a 22-7 lead. James and Alex, just kind of take us through those first half thoughts.
Yeah, I think when we look at it, first quarter ended, and it was all McKinney North. You know, Campbell, we knew the kind of threat that he would be through the air, and he proved it in that first quarter. Now, second quarter came around, and we kind of knew this would happen. Taylor Tatum would just show up and take over, and that's exactly what happened. Design run plays they ran on Wildcats, and he kind of dominated. The defense has really stepped up for Longview as well, and that's kind of been the story in the first half overall.
Yeah, I guess for me, that was a question I had about McKinney North's offense. This is an offense that's been putting up a lot of points. They put up 600 yards last week against Lufkin. And, you know, what have you seen from the Longview defense to be able to keep this offense in check?
I mean, the Longview defense, they've been phenomenal at stopping the run. McKinney North really hasn't been able to get anything done on the ground. We've seen them get a little bit through the air, but Longview's defense has bended but not broken, and that's what's kept them in the game and gotten them this lead so far.
And then for me, looking at this game, so Longview has only played one single-digit game this year against Forney. And then, of course, they lost to McKinney earlier in the year. But what have you seen, you know, do you kind of see this kind of continuing to go Longview's way, or have you seen a little bit of bright spots for McKinney North that they can be able to capitalize on maybe in the second half?
Oh, absolutely. McKinney North has shown a lot that is promising. And, of course, it all starts with their leading receiver, Campbell. He's been amazing. We saw his touchdown catch in the first quarter. He just went up over the corner, and it was just an amazing play. And we're also seeing Nate Markwitz. He is just a physical specimen out on the field. And if they can get it to those two more, I absolutely see them making this a closer game.
How about the run game for Longview? Of course, they have a pretty elusive back in Taylor Tatum. How has that kind of made an impact on this game so far?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to what Longview is able to do, you know, Todd doesn't have to be that guy through the air because Taylor Tatum is so dangerous. That's kind of what I saw going into this game and doing the research, where McKinney North had a dual threat offense where they could run with whenever they had Jaden Walker. And Jacob Turner has also made some good runs this season as their second string running back. And Colin Hitchcock has really provided over 1,400 yards through the air. We already talked about Cam Powell as his weapon. But because Tatum is so dangerous, Todd has a need to be as dangerous. He's got some really good passes off so far, and it's really going to be interesting to see. Taylor Tatum, you know, you see the numbers there on the screen, just he's an overall beast, and there's a reason that they have him on 24/7 as a 4-star running back going to OU. I mean, this guy is the total package, and that is exactly what we're seeing here tonight with Longview's offense.
All right, James Tritley and Alex Weister, thank you so much for joining us during your halftime break. We'll let you get back to it. Should be a very fun second half. Also, Longview with a pretty sizable lead there in the first half.
Yeah, you saw a little bit of a feature of Taylor Tatum right there. Yep. I mean, that dude, let's put it this way. When I saw them last year against Lancaster, they had Jalen Hale, who's now at Alabama, 5-star wide receiver. And I went to see that game, and even as a junior, the offense ran through Taylor Tatum with Jalen Hale on the outside. That offense went through him. So now that he's a senior, they mentioned going to Oklahoma, committed there. Our guy Greg Powers has him as a 4-star running back. Like, it's between him and Caden Durham in terms of the best running back in the state, and it's no surprise that he's been able to take this one over.
Yeah, so that's a big showdown in McKinney, Texas-ish. I think we got some more highlights from the DFW area.
Aledo versus Denton Ryan. Let's go and start in the first quarter here. This is going to be a wildcat formation. This is going to be Devon Keys, takes it himself right up the middle, big boy football, brushes off a wimpy tackler, put Aledo up 10-0. We're going to stick with Aledo here, and looks like this one's going to be set up out of the shotgun. It's going to be Hoss Haney. He's going to give it to Devon Keys right up the middle. Look at that. Perfect lane. Hits the hole and just puts him up big, 17-0. And once Aledo gets a lead, it's hard to get them out of it. But don't go anywhere just yet, even though it's 17-0. Here we go with Ryan now near midfield. This is going to be a quarterback draw up the middle for Mussett. And look at this. Comes right through the Aledo defense. And can he get there? Can he get there? Yes, he adjusts his speed, gets to the left, and just beats his man. 17-6 now. And here in the second quarter, it's going to be Aledo. Oh, throwing a pick. Hoss Haney, a rare mistake in the end zone. That's going to be Tyron Chappell.
All right, this game, not as many fireworks, but a strong drive for Bridgeland, capped off by a 1-yard touchdown run for the senior running back Noah Allen to get Bridgeland on the board 7-0. However, Cy Woods would respond as Aiden Horton, a 13-yard pitch and catch, able to connect with the running back Wayne Shanks Jr., who's got so much running room that time. It's tied at 7. Shanks Jr. with the touchdown catch and run. Going now to the second quarter. This is Jet Lewis. He'll air it out for 24 yards, has a wide open man. That's Mason Simmons on the catch and strolling into the end zone. Bridgeland up 14-7 over Cy Woods. And now we got some red zone action here. Silsby and Hampshire Fette in the second quarter.
Hampshire Fette looking to get on the board here. This will be massive for them.
Again, I mean, what a huge showdown this is. Couple of undefeated teams, and both offenses like to rack up the points. Hampshire Fette trying to get something going, but ball on the ground.
Oh!
And Silsby's going to take over.
Wow,
so a big
that's a massive turnover.
So Silsby with the fumble recovery inside their own 10-yard line.
Wow, that is massive. Yeah, right when Hampshire Fette was able to, I mean, because it looks like 7-0. The offense has fairly been kept in check, right, for the Silsby offense. Yep. I mean, and if you're able to drive down the field and just get something on the board, all of a sudden the game's still wide open, and man, that's a backbreaker. Yeah, this is where that front seven is going to come into play. I mentioned Hampshire Fette, a very, very good front seven. Middle linebacker Raheem Miller, 51 tackles on the year, 10 tackles for loss. He's one of three linebackers, I should say, with over 10 tackles for loss this year for this Hampshire Fette defense.
They go high formation from the 5. They hand the ball off to Kibbles. He slips through the line. He'll pick up a couple of needed yards to get some room. He'll pick up 3 yards there.
Getting a little breathing room.
5 minutes ago, what you got on this game, right, is intensity. Right?
Yeah.
Both teams, 8-0, 7-0. The intensity's there, right? The ability's there. If you can take the intensity from one of them, then they have to execute without all that emotion and that that extra adrenaline and drive. Plays like that inside the 5 and you fumble, that is a game changer. It really is. It's a momentum swing. It steals some intensity.
So again, a big turnover for the Silsby defense, trying to take advantage. A very close game there, up 7-0. And we got another big showdown, Midlothian taking on Lake Belton. Midlothian with a 6-point lead at the halftime break as now we welcome in Russell Mabin and Jahar Thompson, who are joining us now. And guys, Midlothian with a nice 6-point lead over Lake Belton. Just kind of take us through the first half thoughts.
Well, they started off the game without their starting quarterback, Drew Wendell. And so they ended up having to start senior Colin Shannon. And they came out, and it was Lake got the ball first, went right down the field, and they get a 12-yard touchdown pass to Micah Hudson, who flew into the air and did without his wings and snatched the ball and scored a touchdown. And so it looked like the Lake was just going to run away with it. But then Midlothian settled down. They ended up losing the ball on a 4th down, but turned right around and got the ball back from Lake Belton on a 4th down. And so the Midlothian Panthers, when they finally settled down, they got them an 8-place, 56-yard drive where on 4th and 1, they give the ball to Michael Garber, goes straight up the middle for a 25-yard touchdown, and they go up. And so they kind of bounced back from that, and they started running the ball and churning the ball out. They ended up getting the ball to their Clemson commit, Bryant Wesco, for a 11-yard touchdown to go up 14-7. Lake Belton continued to struggle on offense because they brought in Bryant Wesco, their star wide receiver, at cornerback, and they were playing a 3-deep shell and keeping everything in front of them. And the Broncos couldn't get anything going offensively, and that's the Midlothian Panthers struck with a 64-yard touchdown to Bryant Wesco, where he just ran a crossing route and chunked him the deuce like the cheetah, Tyreek Hill, to the house. At the very end, with 2 minutes left, Lake Belton gets down the field, and they get a very controversial touchdown with 4 seconds left to their star, Micah Hudson. So he ended up with 2 touchdowns in the first half and 45 yards, and Wesco got 75 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, it's been a game of big plays by big playmakers. And you sum the first half up with playmakers making plays.
Yeah, I was going to say, just as a fan, right, watching two guys that are going to be playing on Saturdays, possibly Sundays in the future. You know, what's that been like? You mentioned Brian Wesco helping out cover Micah Hudson now. What's it just been like watching those two guys play against each other?
And, my colleague here, I got to give him his props. He said when, the play caller looks at the play sheet, he don't look at plays, he look at players. And that's what we've been seeing tonight. They've been trying to just make sure the playmakers just get the ball in their hand. They've been doing a lot of wide receiver screens. They've been having Wesco do a lot of whip routes, just going in and going out and just trying to get them on phase, just really trying to make the playmakers be the outcome of the game.
And it's been really fun for us over the last 2 years to watch Micah Hudson, because it's like you're watching a game in regular motion. And then when he gets the ball, it's like somebody hit fast forward. It just looks different when you see a guy like Bryant Wesco or Micah Hudson catch the ball and take off with it.
Talk a little bit more about kind of the resilience Midlothian. You're talking about starting their game without their starting quarterback, and they come out and have a nice lead, a 6-point lead there at the halftime break, going up against some huge playmakers on the other side.
Yes, you have to give the backup quarterback a lot of props. Because they're not changing up the offense. He's running the same offense, and he's keeping the ball himself. But one thing I've seen what Midlothian been doing is they've been aggressive on defense. So when you're not what you normally are on offense, you pick it up on defense, and that's what they did. They already had an interception. They've been very aggressive on defense, and that's why they're winning the half with a 6-point lead.
Their big interception actually came on a wide receiver screen. They faked to Micah Hudson's side, went back to Davion Peters on the backside, and that's when the ball was picked off by Jasper Webb and returned deep into Bronco territory. And that's how they got their second touchdown. And so, Colin Shannon, the senior quarterback, played JV last year. And he's in here against Lake Belton, 10th ranked in the state. And
not blinking an eye.
Didn't blink. Just playing his behind off tonight.
Oh, wow. That's really impressive. And then just kind of real quick, thoughts on who maybe has the slight edge. I know Midlothian has the 6-point lead going in to the second half, but from your perspective, which team sort of has the edge mentally or maybe emotionally going into that second half?
Well, after the way the first half ended with the big play by Micah Hudson, you would think maybe Lake Belton, but I'm going to go with Midlothian. They're going to start the second half with the ball, and it's going to be a crucial first drive for them to just set the pace of how the second half is going to go. But I'm going to give it to Midlothian, like I said, because of their defense. I think the defense has just been very aggressive. You got a coach that will take a receiver and put him on defense. Like they're bringing everything for this game. They're trying to get out of here with a win. So I just like the way the coaches are really approaching the game tonight.
I'm going to go with Midlothian as well, just because of the ball. The game is usually won at the line of scrimmage. There are big playmakers on the outside, especially for Lake Belton. They haven't gotten Davion Peters involved as much this game, but
Gardner play.
Yeah, the Broncos are really trying to get the ball to Micah, but the Panthers are really keeping him under wraps. I know it sounds like, well, he scored 2 touchdowns, but he only has like 45 yards. So they're really keeping him under wraps, and they're dominating the line of scrimmage on offense. They have 2 guys at tackle that may play at the next level, and it's making a big difference because the quarterback's getting rushing yards. Harker is doing a great job. Hands get yards. I really feel like they're going to kind of use this clock to work against the Broncos because the Broncos average 44 points a game. They got 14 at halftime. So I think this is going to go down to whoever has the ball last. And if it's Midlothian, I think they're going to clinch it. They're going to pull it out.
Russell Mabin and Jawar Thompson, again, thank you so much for joining us. Sounds like it's been already a hugely entertaining game there in that first half. Looking forward to seeing some of those highlights from the second half.
I've been scanning Twitter a little bit to see some of the highlights, and yeah, that last touchdown grab of Micah Hudson behind 2 defenders, gets his foot down in bounds towards the end of the half. I mean, look, I mentioned it, right? It's hopeful. I'm glad it's living up to the hype, right? In terms of these blockbuster players going at it. I love the idea of Midlothian throwing Brian Wesco on defense just to add something else, right? I remember when Hank Carter threw Garrett Wilson from Lake Travis on the other side to guard Theo Weiss in the state championship game. So I love when you just say the best players play against the best players, and you're just as athletic as he is because that provides the best stuff. So that one's awesome for the fans, and it's also probably their best chance to win, right? Put your best player on their best player.
Man, those guys out there on the call, sounds like they're having a blast covering it too, and I don't blame them. I mean, that is a lot of fun watching a couple of those superstars go at it.
Yep, no, 100%.
All right, so I think we've got some scores coming up now. 1AD1 is we got Gordon 61-0 and Knox City, so the top 2 teams putting up some pretty lopsided scores. And a good one there between Happy and Nazareth, tied at 24. So those are some of the scoring updates from 1AD1.
How about that? I'm happy right now. Happy tied with Nazareth 24. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one to keep an eye on as we go forward.
Yeah, so again, taking a look at those, we're just keeping you updated, looking at some of those playoff pictures throughout every level. And right now we've got another opportunity as Brock trying to reclaim their lead in a run up the middle. Designed run.
Look at that. Touchdown. All right, retake the lead there for Brock. That's a huge answer. And I'll say this: Paradise gave Brock their biggest challenge last year in district. I believe I mentioned 18-13. So Brock knows this is the team that they can't sleepwalk against in their district, even though they're going to be favored in most of their games when they got to this part of the schedule. They knew that this one was the one they could not let get behind them.
And again, Paradise, last time we checked in on this game, Paradise taking the lead on a wild score, and now we got a blocked extra point. See if they can take advantage. Just heaving it to the end zone, bouncing around, and it hits the ground.
Yeah, that hit the ground. I was about to say, we're going to get 2 on this side of the field, too. If we're going to get 2 crazy plays like that in the same game, let's go.
So Brock back ahead, and this time it's a 19-14 lead in favor of Brock. We got some more highlights rolling in now as Wimberly taking on Navarro as we go into the first quarter. Wimberly looking to open the scoring. This is going to be Cody Stover. He'll take the handoff, a designed run himself, takes it up the middle. That's the first touchdown of the game. Wimberly able to score. They're up 7-0 as Stover's going to get the ball again in the red zone. Again, just takes the run. Why not just let him run it himself? Goes untouched, rocking in, and that makes it a 2-possession lead. Now we go 17-0. Have a day. Cody Stovers, why not just keep calling his number, runs it up the middle, 24-0 at this point for Wimberly in the second quarter. Nothing going Navarro's way as they try to get something going. A fumble recovered, all Wimberly tonight, 24-0.
Harker, Heights, and Temple here. We're going to start right here with Caden Butler right at the middle for 13 yards. He's going to put Harker, Heights up early. This one's going to be Adrian Scott now. We get to Temple right inside the 5 here, and it's going to be Adrian Scott powering his way in the end zone. He's going to tie things up at 7. Temple again, this time at midfield. Quick slant right here. That's Christian Tutson, who's going to take it all the way. Can he get there? No, not quite. Good effort there from the defender to bring him down just at the 5. But we're going to stick it here. It's going to be Josiah Harrison on this carry right up the middle, almost basically untouched. to give Temple an early lead. Let's go to the second quarter. It's going to be Dylan Plake from Harker Heights dropping back to pass. He's going to throw a one-on-one. Oh, he got his foot down. Probably got 2 down. That's good on Sundays. Bryce Bass right there. And then Mike Bell is going to finish this one off to give Harker Heights. They missed the extra point though, but almost tied at the half to get back on the board and make this one a 1-score game.
All right, wow, already some pretty exciting highlights rolling in. I guess we're an hour into the show, so this is around the time we start seeing some pretty great plays. But again, taking a look at some of the scores here, Midlothian, Lake Belton, that game about to get back into the second half. And Paradise and Brockton, you were talking about this is going to be a fun one all night long, and looks like Paradise looking for a quick response late in the second quarter.
Yep. By the way, one of our other spotlight games, Dripping Springs, 14-0 on Lake Travis right now. Just check that one out. So, again, Dripping Springs, I mentioned it. They lost a lot. Of course, one of their quarterbacks is going to be playing at Oregon in the next couple of years. He's there now, but he's going to take over in Austin Novosad. They're still kind of churning, right? They may position themselves the second best team in that district in the Austin area, just behind Westlake, if they can hold on to this one over Lake Travis.
Now, again, we're talking about, the importance of week number 9, and just kind of take us through. I mean, you've been following, high school football for a long time. Just take us through the mentality of, the players and the coaches when you get into week number 9 and get into the halftime break, and maybe you're down at the half. In what is a very important week.
I mean, coaches always say, around this time of year that this is when the season, right, when district starts, this is when the season starts. Yeah. But now you know exactly what you're playing for, right? You know exactly the scenarios, whether it's we need to win this one, we can split one or whatever, right? You know the scenarios in your mind. So if, of course, as a coach, you're going through, you got to win every single game. Yeah. But also, if you're the players, you know the schedules, you know the scores around the state, so you're like, yeah, we can't lose this one, or you know exactly the path that you need to either win a district title, host a playoff game. Some of these programs are going to be playing for their first district titles in 10 plus years, right? So this is also your first piece of hardware, right? Yeah. We look at the schools like Katy, and sure, district titles may not mean a lot to Katy when they're trying to play eventually for a state championship, but you see other programs that are just, this may be the hardware you win this year, right? Yep. You may, and then everything after that's awesome, just because. But that first district title, maybe it's been 10 years, maybe it's only been 5, but that once you get that first piece, okay, cool, let's go, let's win by district, let's win area, right? They see that, the kids see that first piece of silverware or hardware, I should say, and all of a sudden they like that winning feeling. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, let's keep that going. So I think it's a motivational factor because you know exactly the scenarios you need as a coach, but also for the kids, like, okay, let's play for district, or when we get in the playoffs, let's see what can happen, right? Yeah. You never know how far you can go.
We're taking a look at one of those other games, those spotlight games. Silsby up 14-0 on Hampshire Fette. Again, that's very exciting. Silsby 3-0, Hampshire Fette 4-0 in district play. Very exciting matchup at Silsby with a solid lead so far in that game. No,
100%. That one's. I've been very fascinated by Silsby all year because it's a team that probably definitely fell short of where they thought last year, and a lot of those players came back, so I've been wondering where exactly their mentality is, knowing that they have a goal in mind of getting back to the regional final or maybe state semifinal, and then obviously to AT&T.
All right, well, I think we got some more highlights going here.
I think so. I believe Copell and Hebron. Let's go. Stick it here in the Dallas.
That's part of the night.
Yeah, exactly. Let's stick it here in the DFW area, and we're going to go to the first quarter. This is going to be Xavier Mosley for Copell. He's going to go right up the middle, untouched basically. He's going to skip into the end zone, 28 yards, his 8th rushing touchdown of the season. He's going to lead the team on the year with those 8. As we see now, junior quarterback Edward Griffin under pressure, but he gets the ball away regardless to Barron Tipton, who goes up, and he gets there, just at the 1. But it does not matter because they're going to punch it in here. This is going to be a Marion Mbakwe right up the middle, big boy football. Copell 14-0 in this one, in a big performance from them so far. It's going to be Griffin again, dropping back to pass. He's going to look for Barron Tipton again, and look at that, beautiful. Holds the ball up high, and he's able to, defender signaling incomplete. The ref saying no, he caught that. 20-0, his 8th touchdown catch of the year. Second quarter, you guessed it, Griffin again dropping back to pass, steps up in the pocket, dime throw. That's going to be to Arian Sneed. Griffin's 3rd touchdown of the night, 35-0 Copell right now at the half.
Barbers Hill taking on Kingwood Park in the first quarter. This is going to be Alex Hartnett with the grab, and he's going to go down the sideline. Does he have a man to beat? He's able to get through. a couple of blockers. That's 75 yards for Hartnett, and that gets Kingswood Park on the board early. They're up 7-0. This is a tie game now, and a blocked punt, 7-7 in the first quarter. Barbers Hill blocking the punt. It leads to a score as Barbers Hill takes advantage on the big special teams play. And this, again, just a few moments later, goal line to Jadon Rodriguez. And that breaks it to a 14-7 score, staying in that second quarter. How about this from Landon Smith, the touchdown grab and run on the board, 21-7 Barbers Hill. Why not go to Landon Smith again after he had that great touchdown grab a moment ago? This time he goes for 76 yards to the house, and it's all Barbers Hill, 42-14 on this play right here by Evan Hoagland, who just kind of powers his way through on the RPO. And again, all Barbers Hill so far in that game. So it's been a lot of fun taking a look at some of these highlights. And we got a couple of guys joining us now on the call, and this is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be James Wiggins on the call at Hampshire, Fette, and Silsby. How you guys doing?
All right, how you doing?
What's going on, man?
Doing good. Can you walk us through that first half a little bit? This was a matchup I've been really looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, we're here at Tiger Stadium, of course, state-ranked Tigers and the Hampshire Fette Longhorns 2-7. So the first two drives for both teams, defensive stands, as the Longhorns stymied the Tigers as they went for the end zone on a second and about 20 yards and turned an interception. So they stopped that first drive and threat by the Tigers, and then they come right back down the field the next time, and the Longhorns fumbled inside the Tigers' 5, and it really stopped that drive for the Longhorns and swapped the momentum. And then really a great fourth possession for the Tigers as they go down the field 95 yards in about 2 minutes and capitalize on a great touchdown pass to Ashton Cartwright in traffic. As Miller set the tone on that drive with a couple big catches, went up against triple coverage, and shows why he's a 5-star recruit. And
I think what really helped them out, they started the hurry up offense, and I think it kind of got Hampshire Fette on their heels on defense. And then they was able to march it down pretty quick.
Yeah, great defensive battle though from both sides. Some great punts. The special teams has been great as they've swapped field the whole night. But right now, just
big play. Tell them about the big play while they go.
Yeah, just the right here at the half. If you weren't listening, 3 seconds to go, 4th and goal from the 2-inch yard. I mean, they're on the paint, and bad snap to Pirtle as he tried to do a little quick keeper. Had to go outside, and Draylon Miller had to run him down by himself as Pirtle almost got to the end zone with no timeout on the 4th and 1.
Yeah, to end the half, it was great.
Yeah, you mentioned the defense, and Hampshire Fette's defense was one that I was really interested in because I didn't think Silsby's been really tested on by a defense like I think Hampshire Fette could be doing or maybe doing. What have you seen from them? But also, what have you seen from Silsby's defense, maybe to shut out the Longhorns in the first half?
Yeah, so Charlie and I discussed, some of the keys of this game was the Tigers are going to try to run the ball, right? There's no doubt that the Hampshire Fette Longhorns were going to have to keep their two main linebackers in the interior of the line to cut off Kibbles. And by doing that, they played man the whole first half. Excellent job by the Hampshire Fette Longhorns to contain, the quartet of Tigers receivers as they ran the spread. We didn't really go to Miller as much. But then we swapped it up a little bit, started using Miller more as a target, and that opened up the interior field from the deep slants to Cartwright, Jaden Miller, and even Radrian Balltrip on one.
Yeah, he scored too.
As that just kind of opened up the offense. The Tigers' defense, their pass defense is good, but they focus on their interior line pressure when they have been doing that to Ty Bryson all night, not giving him a lot of time to get set to hit his playmakers and Pirtle and Zeno. Yeah, they're having to go for the quick passes is what they're having to resort to. And then the secondary of the Tigers, which is super aggressive, is keeping those games to a minimum. No big plays in the secondary of the Tigers, except for the one broken coverage to Zeno right there at the half.
That was with like 2 minutes left to get them down. I think it was like into the 20-yard line of Silsby.
Oh, sorry, but do you expect that Longhorns offense to start finding a little bit of footing here in the second half?
I don't know. We got a linebacker that was out the first half, so we'll have a starting linebacker that with fresh legs, and I mean the Longhorns actually been running the ball up the middle a little, and
Yeah, really doing a great draw play to supplement their passing game. It's caught the Tigers off guard as the middle linebacker was out for the whole first half due to a penalty last week. So I look for that to happen. We'll start plugging that gap a little bit, maybe bringing some more outside pressure to keep Bryson inside so he can't roll out. And I think barring any more interceptions, which Mosier had his first one of the season, I think the Tiger defense contains the Hampshire Fette offense with no big plays, here and there. I think it stays status quo, maybe, final score 21-7. That's what I'm looking at here. I think it's going to be a back and forth defensive battle.
I think both teams make some great adjustments at halftime. I know Silsby's really, really good at that. So I'm excited to see what kind of adjustments we make.
A really good slugfest there in 9-4A. So we're going to let you guys get back to the second half. Appreciate you guys joining us. That's the guys from Southeast Texas Radio. You guys enjoyed that second half. Man, that's living up to the hype so far. I mean, I mentioned the defense a little bit with Hampshire Fette. 14 is not the best, but it's probably not what Silsby's. They're probably used to putting up 21-28 at the half by now. So definitely the biggest challenge they've gotten so far this year.
Yeah, should be interesting second half. Yeah, and that Silsby defense is pretty solid so far. And again, you take a look at a lot on the line. Of course, we've been talking about all night. Week number 9, but Silsby, that would be a huge win for them to be the lone undefeated team with just a few weeks left in the season if they can hold on.
Yeah, the one thing for me with Hampshire Fette this year has been they've won both blowouts and close games. Right, Silsby's been consistently kind of blowing teams out this year. And I mentioned they've only scored less than 35 points once. So, again, they're not used to being in this position exactly where they're only up 2 scores. They've only have 14 points, right? And so what happens now when you get to the third, fourth quarter and you maybe haven't had that big play by Draylon Miller or Ashton Cartwright? Or is it just one of those where eventually guys that talented are going to find a way to break through a defense and kind of put this game to bed?
Yeah, so it should be fun that second half. Of course, the guys on Southeast Texas Radio on the call for that game. We take a look at some of the scores now. 2A D2, close game between Albany and Roscoe. 10-7 the score on that one. And Sunray and Grover, that's a very close matchup as well. So taking a look at some of those, and that's Sunray and Groover. So we'll see how those scores pan out. So it's been a lot of fun. Week number 9 here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. A lot of games right in the middle of it as we take a look now. Of course, Longview 22-7 lead on Mckinney North in that game. Dawson up 10-0 on Shadow Creek there in the third quarter.
Yeah, that one's I'm trying to figure out exactly. No, I don't know. I'm sorry. I completely spaced out there for a second. I was looking at the McKinney game because I could not see. For those of you that don't know, I have a monitor that I'm supposed to be looking at.
Taking them behind the curtain here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out exactly what that top right game was for the longest time, but now I realize it's the McKinney North game, Longview. So I don't know why I could not figure that out for a long time. I was like, why am I looking at Rockwall? Because their jerseys look orange for a bit, but I was like, we don't have Rockwall. So there's a little bit of behind the scenes on my eye issues right now going on. So
yeah, so that one, Longview 22-7 over McKinney North.
Yes.
Impressive start for Longview there in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mentioned this is one of Longview's biggest tests since probably playing McKinney in the first game this year. McKinney North not in a position they've been in before, really. They put up 600 yards last week, I should say, against Lufkin. And I think they also won a high scoring game, I should say, about 46-35, something like that, as we see a pick right there. Look at that. That'll do something if they can turn this into some points either here or on the ensuing drive. That's literally probably exactly what McKinney North needed. And as you can see, the sidelines fired up.
Deep threats in. Switch is flipped pick there onto the Bulldog side.
And the offense
there you
coming out on play
kid.
action.
Don't get it the first time. Keep it up in the air and find a way to locate it and come down with it. That is a huge interception for the Bulldog. And now
to that interception.
They get the ball on offense.
Good job. He hit that about 3 times. And again, how many
get
times
it
have
to
we
your
come
weapons.
here and it has been a tip drill?
Yeah, so we'll see if McKinney North can take advantage. That was a little bit of a tip drill there on the interception, but the defense coming up, setting up their offense with a short field, see what they can do. But we got some more interviews to do as we've got a good game between Lake Travis and Dripping Springs. We have Mark Hohen with us now joining on the call and just kind of take us through what looks like has been an exciting first half of play.
Yeah, hi guys. Joined by Bucky Godbolt, the former UT running backs coach, and thanks for having us on. This was all Dripping Springs, 14-zip in the opening half, but it could be significantly worse.
Oh, and there's no doubt about it. This is a game that could be in the 30s for Dripping Springs, but Lake Travis still found a way that they're only down by 14 points, and if they can have that come to Jesus meeting at halftime, things can change.
Yeah, outgained 207 yards to 40. A team in Lake Travis that averages over 225 rushing yards per game. They had 44 at halftime, or they have -3 rushing yards at halftime. They only have 44 total yards at intermission. Caden Leone, who is the quarterback for Lake Travis, usually very, very confident out there, was 4 of 12 passing, 47 yards. He's a threat to run the ball. He's the Cavaliers' leading rusher, and he struggled rushing the ball.
And the thing that's happening to both sides of the line of scrimmages is dominating the lines of scrimmages on the defensive end and on the offensive end. They're running the ball at will right now at Lake Travis. So we'll see what the second half will hold.
Yeah, they had 178 rushing yards in the opening half, and Cavaliers had the football at least 3 times right around midfield, came away with nothing. There was only 1 turnover in the first half. It was an interception thrown by Marr, the quarterback for Dripping Springs. Their running back, meanwhile, Jack Tyndall, 19 carries, 136 yards, and 1 touchdown. He was impressive.
I don't know if he comes back for the second half. He's already had a game full already with 19 carries. So we'll see if he comes out of the locker room and participates in the second half.
Yeah, guys?
Have you guys seen a Lake Travis team struggle like this? I know it's been a different type of season compared to what we've been used to, where they've traditionally aired it out, but this is more of a ground team you mentioned with Caden Leone. When's the last time you've seen a Lake Travis offense struggle against a defense like this?
Never. We were commenting, we've never seen a half like this.
No.
And we've been doing this together for, I don't know, I've been doing these games for 12, 13, 14 years. I've never seen a half like this where they were so out of sync offensively and defensively, yet, despite all that, they're only down 14 points.
Well, I've never used the word lethargic when it came to Lake Travis football in 7 years. And tonight was the first time I used that word, and I was being kind, as a matter of fact, with that word. It's just, and that's why they play 2 halves of football. That's why you have 4 quarters. You can rectify some of the things that are going on, but it's the emotion that, it's not seemingly there with this football team so far in the first half.
Yeah, we thought they had a spark momentarily, and then they gave back on a big play. But again, it's only 14-zip, and we're at intermission, still 24 minutes of action to play.
Yeah. Lastly, I want to end a little bit about this Dripping Springs team. They lost a special senior class. Of course, their quarterback, Austin Novosad, goes to Oregon. And yet they're still right here in the thick of things with Westlake and Lake Travis. What have you seen from them on both sides of the ball, in particular in this game that's kind of represented what they've been this year?
The Dripping Springs Tigers,
yes.
I believe is what you asked?
Yes.
Dripping Springs, this is a team that recently made the jump to 6A. It used to be somewhat of a rival with Lake Travis, but they played 8 times between 2004 and 2011. Cavaliers won all 8 of them, but it was a big game last year that Dripping Springs went to Cavaliers Stadium, actually got the W there. This is a team that continues to grow. They continue to mature. The population has increased out here. There are some wealthier areas out here. There's a lot of parental involvement. And this is a program, not just football, but all athletics. They're really doing a great job out here in Dripping Springs. They had a quarterback, Novosad, who went to Baylor last year. He was an outstanding quarterback. And I'm impressed with what they've been able to do.
Well, and when you look at this game, it's a game that doesn't count towards district play for Lake Travis. And you don't know, sometimes you just don't know what's in the head of teenagers. Believe me, the players understand that, hey, we can lose this game. We're still going to the playoffs. So you don't know if that comes into play. You hope it doesn't, but as a coach, who knows? Because it's almost a who knows what just happened in this first half. So as the night goes on, we'll be able to tell, I think, a little bit more about who's taking this serious, who came to play. But you only get so many opportunities to play this game. And it's very disappointing in what we just saw in the first half.
Yeah, we'll see how this one shakes out. But Dripping Springs is a team that made it to the postseason last year. They're going to make it to the postseason again. They only have 2,200 kids. Lake Travis has like 3,600 kids, 3,700 kids, something like that. So Westlake and Lake Travis will be the D1 representatives Dripping Springs will definitely be D2. So Cavaliers, if they lose this one, will not have a chance for revenge this year. They're going to have to wait till next year. But let's see what happens in the second half.
Some surprising numbers from that first half. Thank you again so much for spending a little bit of your halftime break with us. And yeah, it's a little shocking to hear those offensive numbers there for Lake Travis.
Yeah, that's a team. Not only I mentioned how much they've changed their style up, but they've made it work, right? They've been a good running team and a good balanced team with Katy and Leon. And yeah, I mean, what was it, 4 for 12 passing? Credit to Dripping Springs if they're able to frustrate them like this, because like he mentioned, that was something we've never seen from this Lake Travis team against any defense, really.
Minus 20 rushing yards there in that first half. Kind of surprising there.
We'll see again.
Dripping Springs, but we don't see teams really frustrate Lake Travis.
I know.
Like that.
I wouldn't want to be in that locker room with Hank Carter right now because he's probably letting some things fly, saying, "Let's get this turned around."
Probably not all rainbows and butterflies in that locker room right now. But yeah, we got some more highlights rolling in now as we take a look. Lake Highlands taking on J.J. Pierce. How about this for a start to a ball game? Lake Highlands, they get the ball first on the kickoff as Pierce sends it down. It's going to be Tamir Bisco receiving it right around the goal line. And wow, I mean, untouched the entire time. The afterburners are on. He goes all the way down the field. That's a way to open up a ball game as Lake Highlands gets on the board first. Again, that's Tamir Bisco with the touchdown on the kick return. And how about for Pierce? They get the ball near the goal line. Man in motion pitching it down. It's a tie game, 7-7. That's Jordan Hutchinson with the touchdown grab. Highlands responds, though, as Deontay Dion gets his first handoff of the game. He rumbles outside for a 20-yard run. After that solid run, they're able to take advantage as Highland hands it off inside the 10, just rumbling and stumbling, reaching the ball over the goal line into the end zone. That makes it 14-7. Now it's a tie game in the second quarter. An opportunity for Lake Highlands to regain their lead. Plenty of time there in the pocket, sending it down. That's Jeremy Leland Jeremy, walks in for the easy score. Staying in that second quarter, 28-14 now for Lake Highlands, trying to add on to their lead. They're pretty deep in their own territory at about the 12-yard line. How about this? Spinning away from tacklers, getting some space down the sideline, goes all the way down. How about that for an acrobatic play all the way backed up at your own 12, spinning away from tacklers, going all the way down. That's a huge handoff for Dion, who goes all the way down into the other territory, and they cap it off after that big play into the end zone. 35-14 lead for Lake Highlands.
DeSoto and Cedar Hill. Now we're going to go to Marvin Duffy for DeSoto to get the Eagles on the board very early, 3-yard run, 6-0. This one's a big district matchup. And we're going to go to Jakiri Washington, who goes up the middle, jukes to the outside, down the sideline, and did he get in? I think he might have. No, he's going to be just short, but they're going to punch it in here. Sam Houston commit DJ Bailey, who's going to take it himself right up the middle, 13-0 DeSoto. But this one's a huge DFW class. Cedar Hill, they don't like each other. They're going to get on the board. This is going to be the big back. Zaylen Scott makes a man miss, points at him. You got juked, you right there. He's going to go 8 yards for the touchdown to get the Longhorns on the board. It's 13-7, but DeSoto's going to answer. It's going to be Duffy again. Big hole, 15 yards, 21-7 DeSoto in the huge District of Doom clash right there. You point that point right there. Come on, that is peak disrespect right there. But also that's the kind of vibe you get in this rivalry game.
So last time we checked in on this game, McKinney North got the interception, not able to take advantage, and Longview back on the board.
See, that scenario he could have pointed to. He could have pointed at that defender as he looks at the camera and gives him a little heart.
There we go. But Longview running up the score, so a pretty impressive outing for them tonight.
Yeah, this is a very impressive performance from them because I mentioned McKinney. This is an offense that's been just absolutely hammering teams. And if they win this one, district's completely in their hands. Obviously, they got 2 more weeks to go, but this will be theirs to lose for Coach King there in Longview if they hold on to this one, which, I mean, looks like it's so far so good.
Yeah, able to survive that interception a little bit earlier, but yeah, Longview looking to go 5-0 in district play.
Yeah, and I believe McKinney North, they're still playing for their first district title, or their second ever district title. The last one was won in 2019. I believe they mentioned the tight end, the broadcasters mentioned tight end Nate Markiewicz. His brothers were the ones that helped win the first one in 2019. They went on to play Syracuse, I know the quarterback did. But yeah, he's trying to help them bring the program's second ever if they can kind of mount a big comeback here.
Wow. So again, we're getting to about the last hour or so here of the show. What has surprised you so far? I know we talked earlier about that Dripping Springs, Lake Travis, just the offensive numbers or lack thereof numbers for Lake Travis, but anything else standing out at you through some of our spotlight games?
Honestly, that one's the biggest one to me because I mentioned that this one, I think this one was going to be a defensive game, right? I've mentioned that Lake Travis's defense has been better this year. Dripping Springs defense has been kind of their calling card as opposed to the offense like it was last year. But just the way that Dripping Springs has been able to make them uncomfortable, right? That's kind of been the thing that's surprising. I expected a low-scoring game, but not 14-0 right now.
Yeah, and again, just impressive defensive performance by Dripping Springs. Of course, some of the biggest playmakers on defense, cornerbacks. We had Greg Powers here on the desk last week where his favorite segment, our favorite segment, the Cruton Corner, did it right here in the studio. He's back for another edition as we take a look at the top 10 cornerbacks across the Lone Star State. Take it away, Greg Powers.
Welcome into this week's Cruton Corner on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, and this week we have some very talented cornerbacks in the Lone Star State to talk about. And talking about the number one prospect in the Lone Star State at that position, he's also the top uncommitted prospect in the Lone Star State. That's Kobe Black from Waco Connolly, a 6-foot, 190-pounder who has offers from virtually every school in the country, but is seriously considering schools like Texas and Texas A&M in-state, and he's got schools like Alabama and Ohio State out of state that are really trying to sway him to come to their programs. Obviously, he's one of the most talented two-way players in the state as well. Three-way, really, because Waco Connolly likes to get him involved in the return game. But I love his flexibility and versatility in the defensive secondary. He's a guy who can play on the island. He has the size to match up against top-tier wide receivers, and he hits like a safety and has the length of some of the other top-rated safeties in the state. For that reason, I like him to be an early impact player at the next level. At the very least, you're going to see him make a special teams impact, I believe, in 2024. Moving down the list, Corian Gibson from Lancaster. He's committed to Clemson. He's one of the top-tier guys. Another big-frame, big-bodied cornerback prospect. Selman Bridges going to Arkansas from Lake Belton. Micah Hudson's not the only star in Lake Belton because Selman Bridges is a defensive stalwart who's able to control the action, does some special things on special teams as well. 6'3", 180 pounds. I really like him. But if you're looking for a true football player, look no further than Eli Bowen at Denton Guyer. Eli Bowen is the brother of Oklahoma safety Peyton Bowen, and he's also headed to the University of Oklahoma to play his college ball. It's going to be a lot of fun for people in Denton to watch the two Bowen brothers team up there in Norman. Bowen is a ball magnet. He finds the football no matter where you line him up. He has experience playing safety and cornerback. I like him projecting more as a nickelback or a cornerback at the next level. And he's just a true football player. He's a good tackler. He has a nose for the football. He's very instinctual, and he's a lot of fun to watch on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to give us, before I move on to my sleeper, I'm going to give a special shout out to Tony Lewis and Cuba. He's committed to Arizona State from Louisville. Doesn't turn 17 until December, so he's one of the youngest players in this cycle. He has extremely high upside. One guy who really knocked my socks off live scouting this year is Conroe's Devondre McGee. Devondre McGee possesses the size and the ability to be an island quarterback. He's committed to TCU, who does a tremendous job in the evaluation process. TCU does a tremendous job developing top-tier defensive stars. I think he's the next in line. He's another one of these guys who doesn't only make plays on the defensive side of the ball. You can really put him anywhere. As a matter of fact, when I watched him live, he recovered a fumble and blocked a kick. So he can do a little bit of everything, and I think he was one of the best finds by any staff in the Lone Star State this season. Keep it locked right here every week for the Cruton Corner, and I look forward to hearing the rest of Texas football tonight from y'all at the desk.
There's only one state in the nation with 13 Division I FBS programs, and there's only one podcast that talks about every single one of them. Introducing the Dave Campbell's Republic of Football podcast, the most complete coverage of the Lone Star State. Join host Ishmael Johnson, Carter Yates, and Mallory Hartley live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. for the biggest news and weekly previews on all Texas FBS programs. Can't catch every college football game on Saturdays? We've got you covered with recap episodes Sunday mornings with senior writer Mike Craven checking in. Subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Apple. Strap in with your host Ishmael Johnson, producer Mallory Hartley, senior writer Mike Craven, and college writer Carter Yates for a ride that'll last from now throughout the season.
Need your daily football fix? Look no further than Texas Football Today, the daily live show from the people that bring you Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Every weekday at noon, Greg Tepper and Ashley Pickle bring you the latest news, deep dive analysis, insightful interviews with big-name guests, and more. And if you ever miss an episode, you can subscribe to the Texas Football Today podcast to keep up with all the fun. Don't miss Texas Football Today every weekday at noon at texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and subscribe to Texas Football Today wherever you get your podcasts. Nobody covers Texas high school football like Tep and Step, the premium high school football podcast from Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Dig deep into the sport in every corner of the state with high school football insider Matt Stepp and managing editor Greg Tepper, with game previews, unique insights, and bold predictions. Get Tep and Step by becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at texasfootball.com/subscribe.
We might not be good at many things, but there is one thing that we crushed, and that's naming a stinking podcast. WTF. Yes, it's exactly what you're thinking. Women talking football. Oh, you thought it meant something else? You might be right. Tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. as me, Ashley Pickle, and everyone's favorite Mal pal, Mallory Hartley, bring you in-depth analysis of every region of the Lone Star State, talk ball with reporters across Texas, get the real scoop from coaches' wives, and all the other nonsense that comes along with the two of us being allowed to talk into a microphone. Join the party Thursdays at 2 o'clock on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football YouTube page.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight as we take a look at some of the score updates, 2A Division I, some lopsided scores, and a couple of close ones. Shiner keeping it close.
Yeah, I feel like Shiner and Refugio always play. It doesn't matter who's ranked, who's not. They're always going to play a close game.
So that one 13-7 as we were taking a look at some of those 2A D1 scores. Now jumping ahead to the 3A level, Division II, some of the top scores over there. We'll take a look on that side. How about that? We got Hooks up 42-0 over Redwater, and then another. It's an odd score to see a 7-2 score.
Hey, my boys down at West Rusk, yeah getting it done. 7-2. Let's go.
And then Danbury keeping it close with Tidehaven. They're 7-0 in that game. So
shout out Tyler Wilbanks, offensive coordinator, West Rusk. Give him a shout out on there. There we go.
Yeah, up 7-2 right now on the number 2 team.
It's got to step it up though. 7's not enough. Come on now.
All right, there we go. Defense doing their job.
Yes, defense doing their job. I don't know the defense coordinator.
I guess the offense. Well,
I can mess with Tyler. I can mess with the offense because I know Tyler.
Yeah.
So I can say he needs to step it up. But
well, they gave up the 2 on the safety.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right, how about this one? We were talking about this right at the break. Dawson up 10-0 over Shadow Creek. This was scoreless at the halftime break.
Pretty big one here. I mean, obviously it looks like Shadow Creek's trying to drive down the field here and kind of answer. But yeah, fourth quarter, speaking of, that's the one thing that we've been getting some low scoring games today too. Obviously you mentioned the 14-0 Lake Travis Dripping Springs. As we see, they're on the board. Okay.
All right, so we just had to chime in on that game, and Shadow Creek getting on the board. This is an offense that averages about 32 points a game, and they wait till the fourth quarter, but they get their first points on the board, and they're an extra point away from making it a 3-point game in the final frame.
Yeah, if you're Brad Butler, you probably just go to the defense and say, hey, keep doing what you're doing. They're only have 10 points, right? So if you just do that, if you just keep doing that, we'll go down and we'll try to score again, because Sometimes it's harder to get the first one, as we're seeing the standings here.
Yeah, again, you see why this game is so important for Shadow Creek trying to stay alive to take the top spot.
Yep. I mean, it is weird seeing the 4 and 3 team on top, but because all 4 of those wins came in district.
Yeah.
But of course, this is basically a de facto district title game. Of course, Pearland, of course, is there as well, but we kind of project Shadow Creek to be the biggest challenger to Pearland Dawson. Yeah, if they can hold on to this one, we're talking, I mean, pretty big flip there in 23-6A.
And again, we assuming that everyone at home has kind of figured it out, but just to put it out there, the records there in the parentheses, that's the overall score, and then the bolded record, that is the district score, of course. So that takes precedence now in district play.
I was about to say, week 9, it's the other doesn't really matter. It literally doesn't matter. The overall record does not matter. It's all about that one in bold right there, as we're seeing with Pearland Dawson. They turn it on at the right time, basically. You know, it doesn't really matter when they start winning, as long as they get it done when it counts.
And back to this one, Silsby up 14-0. That defense has been solid. Then that first half is Hampshire Fette trying to get something going. Taking a shot deep, but that Silsby secondary has been solid tonight.
Receiver was looking for a flag, but I did not see any defensive pass interference there. That's just staying with your man for the entirety of that one. Yeah, Ty Bryson for Hampshire Fette, 2,000 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's able to air it out, as you see there. And as we go to Longview here with Taylor Tatum right up the middle, going right through that defense of McKinney North, and they are just completely in control of this one. Looks like Longview is going to be taking firm control of this district.
Yeah, talking about their halftime that Tatum didn't have to do a whole lot of work there in the first half. Obviously, a lot of playmakers on the offense, but going into the second half now and trying to milk this clock, getting a lot of handoffs.
I was about to say, McKinney North's going to get sick of Taylor Tatum by the end of this game, because they're just going to be, as they do it again, I formation right up the middle, and it's going to get 4 or 5 yards there. It's going to be a physical game. If you're a defensive lineman, a linebacker for McKinney North, you have to prepare for the next 5-10 minutes of just pain, because this is basically all it's going to be.
Yeah, so Longview looks to be the only undefeated team left in district play. With that win tonight, they look to go 5-0. But again, this one, Silsby, they're 7-0 overall, 3-0 as we take you live on the call in this game.
They'll bring Augustine in motion. And Jonah Brown off the
Lee, what a hit. He didn't ever see him coming.
Bryson was looking to the left side.
Bryson come up saying, cut me, Mick, cut me. Golly.
Big time defensive sack there by Jonah Brown.
That's what Silsby needed to do. That's a statement right there for the game.
So looking, I forgot the umpire's just saying 4th down. What's he doing?
Oh, yeah, it's 4th down.
11-yard loss on that set.
Wow, what a hit. He's lucky.
Bryson was in a deep drop there, waiting for the receivers to get deep down the field as they were taking the shot. So 4th and 20.
Miller's going back, try to return it. False start. False start by Hampshire.
Taking back even further?
Yes, sir.
That'll have them.
Yeah, so again, I mean, we've been talking about it. That Silsby defense has been solid all night long, and that time,
out there.
Yeah, a huge defensive stop there with that sack on 3rd down.
As we see Midlothian firmly taking control of this one, as Lake Belton's trying to get something going. And
whoa!
Falling to his hands. Oh my goodness! Is he gonna score?
It looked like he was receiving a punt.
I was about to say, I think there is a flag, so I think it is coming back, but. I don't know who they're. I'm probably going to call offensive pass interference because everybody's walking back. But yeah, it looked like he was just waiting there, and the ball just I didn't even look like he was looking for the ball. It just fell in his in his lap almost. I guess they're going to say he pushed off a little bit. Maybe that's why he was able to catch the ball so low. But that was impressive. I don't know if you're familiar with the rule of cool on Twitter. So the rule of cool is a college football thing. If it's cool, it should stand. No matter what, it's the rule.
That should stand right there.
Yeah, if there's a flag, if it's incomplete, you got to review it. If it's cool, it should stand. That's basically the rule of cool. But that was kind of cool, so I think that should be able to stand.
But how about Midlothian? We were talking to Russell Mabin there at the halftime break. They did not have their starting quarterback to start this game.
Yeah, they've both sides of the ball, right? Yeah. You mentioned, as we're seeing here, Lake Belton. This is an explosive offense with obviously one of the best players in the state, arguably the best player in the state, and they're kind of holding him in check on both ends. You mentioned the quarterback. They did not have Elijah Mascarenas, who's been their guy, or no, excuse me, Drew Wendell for Midlothian. Mascarenas is the Lake Belton quarterback. Midlothian didn't have Drew Wendell, and that's been their guy.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that he'd been playing JV earlier this year. Or
Yeah,
last
they
week
said, well, they said he was the starter last year. He was playing JV
last year on
year.
JV, and so it's like, by the way, you're stepping up in probably our most high-profile game this year. So
against some of the best playmakers on the other side.
Yeah, as you're seeing right here, Midlothian, a good balance attack. They lean run, but they can air it out a little bit. But Michael Garber is their guy on the ground, 635 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, and of course the guy Bryant Wesco, 500 yards, over 500 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns and 1 punt return as well for a touchdown for the Clemson commit. And yeah, this one, I mean, going Midlothian's way, which I don't know how surprising it is exactly. I expected a closer game, definitely. But it is interesting to see the kind of adversity you mentioned that Midlothian kind of was able to overcome.
And again, I mean, that's just such a high-powered, high-scoring offense for Lake Belton, averaging almost close to 50 points a game, and to be held, to that number is a little bit shocking.
Some other implications of this one as well. The winner of that one, the winner of Midlothian and Lake Belton, potentially could host a first-round playoff game, right? So if Midlothian holds on, somebody will have to go to Midlothian to play in the bi-district round.
All right, so we're taking a look now. We've got 4 games up. This is true quad box.
With Travis on the bottom right there is about to try to score here. This is true Tex football tonight.
Yeah, they're trying to get something going. I mean, minus 20 rushing yards at the halftime break.
That is Dripping Springs.
So Dripping Springs with the ball, trying to go up 3 scores.
Wow, yeah, because they're wearing black today. I'm not used to seeing Dripping Springs in black.
And that one just shy of the goal line. But Dripping Springs knocking on the door, trying to go up 3 touchdowns on Lake Travis.
I need somebody to look up when the last time Lake Travis had 0 points going into the late third quarter. That is something that I'm just not used to seeing. But Dripping Springs playing absolute bully ball right now, draining the clock a little bit, right? They're taking their time, they're huddling, and they're just going to try to make this a really commanding lead. We're gonna get some tush push.
Yeah.
There we go. Tush
push.
It's
unstoppable.
Action. It is the hardest play to defend in football. Popularized now by the Eagles, kind of popularized by Tom Brady to a certain extent as well. Unless you have 400-pound defensive linemen, it is hard to block 3 people pushing your quarterback up against your center and just plowing away. So 3 touchdown lead for Dripping Springs now. My goodness.
Yeah, again, not taking anything away from Dripping Springs, not saying that, wow, this is truly shocking that they're up, but just holding that Lake Travis offense scoreless in the third quarter.
Yes.
That is the surprising part. And this has been a fun one. Alito and Denton Ryan, that is a 4-point game in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yes, by the way, I do want to hint on Dripping Springs, one of the more underrated recruits in the state, Thompson Vickery. I don't believe he's committed anywhere. He has a bunch of offers from some group of 5 schools around the state. He's kind of one of the more unsung athletes of that defense, but it just goes to show you that there are a lot of playmakers on that defense that may or may not be putting up necessarily the big monster numbers that are, and they're able to obviously hold Lake Travis right now to what they're doing.
And back over Silsby, 14-0 over Hampshire Fette. We've got Brock 19-14 over Paradise in the third quarter. Midlothian and Lake Belton.
Play here from Midlothian across midfield, and they're just completely taking control of this one.
13-point advantage for Midlothian in the second half. But again, going back, that Silsby, Hampshire, Fette, and obviously 14-point lead, but the defense has been huge for Silsby tonight.
Yep. I mentioned that I was curious if Silsby's offense has been tested enough this year, right? And credit to their credit, they've to Hampshire Fette's credit, they've held them about as in check as anybody's held them all year. But I think this goes to show you that Silsby's able to win other ways, right? It's not just a team that's going to light it up and score however many points they need to win. It's the team that's going to be able to kind of get it done now on defense, and I think this is a game that they kind of needed.
And again, and just, a lot of these games coming down to the wire. Midlothian, 13-point lead over Lake Belton, again, without their starting quarterback, and they've had Kurt sort of keeping Micah Hudson in check.
Right.
Hard to say when he had 2 touchdowns there in the first half, but limited to about 45 yards, I think, is what they were telling us.
And this is, I will say, right now, Midlothian's perfectly in their game plan. So they're, even though they have Bryant Wesco, I think what's allowed them to let this backup quarterback come in and be comfortable is that their game plan, even with Wendell in the game, is run the ball, and then hit Bryant Wesco deep, right? And so when you know that's the game plan, you know the pressure's off, right? And so it's going to be a lot of Michael Garber, a lot of giving him the ball, and then, by the way, Bryant Wesco, just when the defense softens up, okay, then you're going to leak the 4 or 5-star wide receiver down the field. He's going to be one-on-one, or probably not one-on-one, but he's going to catch it no matter what. And so I think that's helped a little bit as well in this game where the game plan didn't change, right? They were still going to make things easy for the backup, but it kind of lets him be a little bit more comfortable. I also think they had a bye week to prepare for this one. I think Lake Belton has, I forgot when their bye week was, but I know Midlothian had 2 weeks basically to prepare for this game. So maybe this was one where it's like we're going to empty out all of our game plans defensively, offensively, and we just figure out what we got to do to get this done.
Yeah, so again, impressive by Midlothian to get that going.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. As we got here, this is
a new one.
Yeah, can you call it 6 box? I mean, we're a little bit smaller, but that way you can still see us, which is great. I know the viewers at home love being able to still see us. And then we still got 4 games up in the boxes. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool. And, again, Brock and Paradise, that's been a fun one. And Alito and Denton Ryan has been back and forth all night long. Alito with the lead, 4-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, this one's a big one for Denton Ryan as well. This is a team that's been very up and down by their standards. And if a good showing versus Alito is definitely something that they need. I believe they are, they're 5-1 on the year, but they had a close win against New Braunfels. They lost to the Colony. Everybody's like, what's happening with Denton Ryan? And if they could, even if they keep this close, right, it's going to get more people saying, okay, it turns out Denton Ryan might be okay.
Rolls out to his left, and he'll be sacked all the way back at the 28-yard line. Chased down by number 0, Isaiah Jennings, who picks up his first sack of the year. And it'll be 4th and long for Brock. It'll officially be 4th down and 18 for the Eagles. They will go for it here. Inside enemy territory at the 30, inside the enemy 30-yard line at the 28. They need to make the 10-yard line a game. Woods, the step in the pocket. He's got a lot of running room. Being chased down, however, 15. Cuts his way inside the 10. And he's brought down right to the line to gain. And it appears to be an 18-yard gain and a Brock first down. What a run by the junior quarterback, Brody Woods, as he picks up 18 on 4th and 18. And it is now 1st and goal at the 10. Quick stoppage of play here. Looks like they might be taking Burrows out of the game. Checking in for him will be number 13, Cotton Tanner. First and goal at the 10. Woods throws immediately, and it's caught by Finney. No, it comes out. Trying to do that quick screen across the field to Finney. In there in coverage was number 18, Jacob Chisholm, the junior. So it'll be 2nd down and goal now. Ball still at the 10-yard line. Tutter motions out of the backfield. Woods running out to his right, and he'll be chased down from behind by Kobe Dickens as he takes it down to about the 7-yard line. It'll be a gain of 3. So 3rd down and goal from the 7-yard line. Under 4 minutes left to play now, as Brock has taken Over 7 minutes off the clock in this drive. 3rd down and goal from the 7. A chance to go up by 2 scores. Woods looking for the end zone. Wide open over the middle, and it's caught! Touchdown, Brock! Tyler Butler. Tyler Butler picks up his 3rd touchdown of the season on his 4th catch of the night. And Brock, for the first time tonight, goes up 2 scores.
They ran the same play to John Riggins over and over and over again. And here comes the quarterback touchdown! Midlothian Colin Shannon, the senior, Brock Purdy. He's Brock Purdy. He found out this week that he was starting for injured quarterback Drew Windle. And what can you say about this kid? He's put up a 40-burger against the number 10 team in the state on the road. What a great job, Colin Shannon. Midlothian started at their own 32. They go 68 yards, and they're going for 2. Colin Shannon. He rolls out to the right. He's got a receiver open, but he looks backside. Touchdown. 2-point conversion, not touchdown, to number 88, Cole Tompkins, the tight end. Tompkins, 6'4", 215. He's averaging 13 yards a catch, but he can only get 2 yards on that one.
But that's what happens when you run the ball so well. Play action, people are wide open.
They had 2 guys open. The guy that they faked it.
Want to get your thoughts real quick on Brody Woods, but taking a look now at the 3A Division I scores. How about Lorena and Franklin? A very close tie game, 35-35 in that one.
It's 2 former state champions in the past couple years. I believe 3 years ago they both won state titles. So yeah, that's a huge game going on.
Shallow Water hanging in there with Bushland, and then Brock and Paradise, of course. That has been a huge matchup, and we were hearing on the call there, Ryan Fox on the call, saying over 7-minute drive for Brock.
7-minute drive.
And they get that touchdown because of Brody Woods on 4th down, decides to tuck it and run. He gets just to the line to gain 18 yards. How about that play from the junior quarterback?
Yeah, 4th and 18 after a sack from Paradise. Looked like momentum was going to swing back their way. They have a chance to go down, maybe take a lead. All of a sudden, you mentioned it. Yeah, he just tucks it and runs and barely gets there, but he gets there. And then of course they go down and score. And yeah, a gigantic kind of deflating drive for Paradise because you thought that was done and they get to take more time off the clock, and now you're down double digits.
Yeah, so again, for the junior quarterback to make that play, impressive. Now we take a look at some of the scores for AD2. Again, Carthage just keeps on humming along.
That Monahan score, Fabin's at the bottom.
Holy moly, 72-7? Oh, I had to make sure I was seeing that right. And then we talked earlier, Wimberly 41-13 over Navarro. Is Wimberly all over?
I will say the 51-20. That's a good score if you're means center is good. I think that genuinely means center's offense might actually be pretty good because that Carthage defense rolls through everybody, and I'm now very intrigued by this center team if they're hanging 20 on this Carthage team. So score's lopsided, but it's Carthage. Don't worry about them until AT&T. We'll see when they get back basically at this point. But yeah, that 20 from center, that has me intrigued about them.
McKinney North trying to close the gap a little bit in the 4th quarter as Longview up 36-13.
Double reverse didn't work out. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Not much going right for McKinney North tonight.
Oh, I don't know why you get down there and you do that. You get all the way down there, and I think that's when you kind of just run your stuff. Oh, trickeration sometimes works out. Sometimes it turns the ball over and you're down double digits.
And how about this game? Alito was leading for the majority of the game, but Denton Ryan taking the lead in the 4th quarter. Alito with the ball now in plus territory, though.
Hoss Haney has a chance. Of course, he always pressure on him, though. And it looks like an arm punt a little bit, and it's going to be picked off. Oh, man.
That's a couple of interceptions for Haney tonight, something you don't see often.
Not at all. This is exactly the type of performance that Denton Ryan needed. I mentioned close game. Of course, they got upset last year by New Braunfels. It seemed like ever since that game, they never quite felt right or looked right. They start off the year with almost losing again. Of course, they lost, I mentioned, to the Colony. And all of a sudden, they're back in, and they're about to potentially, if they can hold on here, maybe increase this lead, knock off the Bearcats, which is something you don't often see before November.
Back to this game, again, that Silsby defense just suffocating, and now their offense has the ball at midfield looking to go up by a 3-score advantage in the third.
Yeah, this one's completely gone defensive in this second half as we see. Oh, here we go.
And there we go, a little bit of offense now down the sideline inside the 20.
Is that the man, Mr. Miller? I think it is. On the end around, just get him the ball some way. You know, it just doesn't matter whether he can take a snap if he needs to. Just get his hands on the ball.
Yeah, so again, Silsby trying to stay undefeated in district play and just overall. Now they're looking pretty good right now, and again, trying to go up by 3 touchdowns. So again, we knew that this was going to be a big matchup. We're maybe expecting a little more offense tonight, but Silsby just dominant both sides of the ball.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is, like I said, an impressive way to win differently.
Yeah.
Right. As you can see, they're kind of controlling the clock now a little bit. They're doing a little bit of hurry up, but because they know their defense is able to kind of hold things steady on their end, they kind of feel comfortable just kind of taking their time, and they know they can give them some rest as well. I mean, I can't remember the last time they've pitched a shutout. Silsby has, because usually when you have an offense that explosive, you're just going to have a team that's, just kind of not giving your defense much rest, right? Because your offense is scoring so quickly. But I love seeing this side, because I think that especially when the playoffs get around, you're going to have to find different ways to win, right? Everybody has film on everybody.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be able to be taken out of your game plan sometimes, and you got to find ways to adjust. So I like this having a little bit of a counterpunch to when a team kind of limits your explosive offense.
By himself, bootleg right, looking, steps, fires, deep again, right into traffic. Cartwright, I think that's a first down.
Yes, it is.
Another great throw by Mosier and a catch by Cartwright.
Threaded the needle, man. I think he's better when he's got 3-4 defenders around him receivers.
What you saw is what Mark was talking about. They sent Miller to the post, right?
Yeah, decoy.
Decoy pulled the safety, which opened up that second level for Cartwright to slip in underneath it. 3:24, high formation, 1st and goal for the Tigers, as they got 2 tight ends with Cartwright in a single to this near side. Falls on the ground. Who falls on it? Oh, my goodness. This is a big-time mistake if it doesn't go the Tigers' way.
I want to say our fullback fell.
Still battling under there, but it doesn't look like they're going to change the...
They're gone.
Pinching and falling.
How long are they going to let them go?
Well, I think they probably would have been in there a little quicker if the possession would change, but we'll find out here shortly. Whistles are blowing as they unstack the bodies, but a bad snap on the I formation. Tigers do retain it. As Mosier under center, for some reason, didn't get the exchange. Tigers dodge a bullet. Both sides with a turnover. That would have been a momentum shift to fumble inside the 10 like that. That'll bring up 2nd and 11, looks like. 2nd goal, really, but 11 yards to get to the goal. They're going to go pistol, strong left here from this near hash.
No help on Miller.
They flip it outside to Kibbles. Great coverage out there, though, as they stack him up. Good job by the Longhorn defense. Because they saw that. Number 6 for the Longhorns.
He lost 3.
I think that's Hine.
Yeah, Mason Hine.
Mason Hine with a great job coming out of the linebacker position to keep that, and they did. They're back to the 14 now. That'll be 3rd and goal from the 14. The Longhorn defense still in the game. Back to high formation, 2 tight ends, twins left, Miller out there. Morris in the fullback position. They're going to fake the Kibbles. Looking backside, flips to the outside. Oh, what a great defensive play. As Cartwright was waiting for the ball. Is that number 6 or 5? Can't see. That's or is that 2? think that's number 2.
That's number 2, yeah.
That's Lamette, is that right?
Number 2.
Larnett.
CJ Larnett with a great defensive play to reach in there
And knock it away.
with his left hand to knock it away. They're going to line up for a field goal. I think this might be the first one of the year. Arsenault kicking from the 21. Blocked by the Fette Longhorn. They pick it up at the 30. Bodley is there to try to corral him. Cuts back inside. I think that's Lorena breaks away, and a touchdown for the Longhorns as they block a field goal and return it.
This game's a game. All right.
Wow.
This game's a game now.
I mean, how about for Silsby? I almost had the great catch right there in the end zone. Great defensive play. And then trying to go up 17-0 and wow.
It's a one-score game.
Oh.
It was a 3-score game. I mean, that is a 10-point turnaround.
Yeah.
14, almost a 14-point turnaround with the deflected pass. Turns into a 10-point turnaround because they thought they had an easy 3.
Wow.
I mean, this is going to be a crazy finish. This is going to be an insane finish.
It's lived up to the billing all night long.
100%. And just when we thought that it was getting to the point where it's like, Silsby is going to
looks like they got it under control. They got under
Insanely
wraps.
clutch plays by the Hampshire Fette defense there.
They still got a whole nother quarter to go, too.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah,
that's in the third quarter.
Yep.
At Midlothian, almost hanging up 50 on Lake Belton in the fourth quarter.
Really, I mean, this is kind of I don't know how much time's left, but this is kind of just trying to get some more points on the board here because this one looks, yeah, it looks like, at least from a defensive perspective, Midlothian's kind of having their way with Lake Belton's defense. So,
wow. I mean, how about that for special teams?
Yeah. All of a sudden, how a game can flip. I mean, geez, that's so insane.
All right, taking a look at some of the scores now for a D1.
Look at Dallas Carter up there with Salina.
Wow, that one a 1-point game, pretty close. Kilgore and Athens pretty tight as well.
Yeah.
So a couple of close games, and then we've got Bourne 63-0 or Bernie. Yeah, there we go. Over San Antonio Kennedy.
People in that area will come with pitchforks to your house.
Oh no! All right, thanks. And then Anna up big on Nevada Community. So some of those scores there for a D1. Man, I can't get over that blocked field goal return all the way, breaking a tackle on the way to the end zone.
I thought it was like, okay, here's where he gets tackled. Yeah. They got to drive, and that's where it probably ends. But no, he just brushes them both off.
Wow.
It looks like Micah Hudson just made another highlight play, potentially while getting pass interfered with. I just love how he casually just did the ball to the ref. He's like, yeah, he held on to me. Like, it's fine. I still caught it. Oh, personal foul, face mask, and he held on to it. Okay.
Jeez. I mean, what more can we see from Micah Hudson? He's done it all. It'll be very exciting to see him at the next level as well.
Yep. This is gonna be one of those performances where you look back on his stat line. He's like, "Wow, how much they win by?" I was like, "They didn't win."
Here's the thing.
He's like, he's gonna finish for like 2 or 3 touchdowns, and it's like, "Yeah, well,
trying to get something going.
Try to get it going here. Yeah, I feel like it's late in this game already, and of course, Midlothian has not been stopped yet.
And again, to do this with the backup quarterback to put up 49 points. Lake Belton does get back on the board, but just a very impressive showing by Midlothian tonight without their starter.
Yep, and now I think Red Oak is also winning, so now this potentially sets up a clash between Midlothian and Red Oak. I don't know if they play next week or the week after.
Well, we have already some huge showdowns next week.
Yes, 100%. Yes, it's going to be fantastic. They play them next 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
So in the final week
11,
potentially we will have 7-0, or I guess 9-0 at the time, Red Oak versus 9-0 Midlothian, potentially for this state championship.
Almost got a blocked kick right there.
Or state championship, district championship. I'm getting ahead of myself.
just a bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen some surprising scores. I mean, looking at Dripping Springs and Lake Travis and that one. And how about this?
Yeah, so I want to get. I don't know how people realize exactly as Hoss Haney takes almost to the house and is about to ruin the point I'm about to make right now. Aledo has not lost a district game since 2007. Right, that is the streak that's on the line right now. As Hoss Haney just completely rips that to shreds, saying, "Yeah, I know we haven't lost, and we're still not going to lose since 2007." But that's the kind of that's the magnitude surrounding this game. If Denton Ryan can pull this upset, it's on paper, yes, 2 powerhouses going at it, but Aledo's rolled their district literally for almost a decade. And so, over a decade, for well over a decade, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So this is a huge moment, and that's why that run right there by Hoss Haney is potentially like a historic, because this is a historic run. That's potentially a historic touchdown because we're keeping this streak alive. It's well over 100 games at this point.
And he has a couple of interceptions tonight. Yep. And making up for it in a big way with that touchdown run right there to
100%.
perhaps keep that streak alive.
I was going to say, I might not be getting it done with my arm, but I'm just going to take it and go. Because as you can see, that is a Power 5 player right there, the TCU commit, very easily.
Yeah, so making up for a couple in that second interception, not really his fault. He got drilled as he was letting it go. Yep. But either way, making up for it with that big run late in the fourth quarter.
By the way, I want to say that was a designed run, too. It looked like a draw. It looked like a designed draw, which, I mean, at this point in the game, I believe there's 2 minutes left. That's one heck of a call from the leader there.
I mean, that stat, that's crazy. All right, we'll take you to the call on this one.
Miller outside. He stiff arms one, stiff arms twice. One man to beat down the sideline. Stiff arms again. Showtime! Touchdown Tigers! Wow! That's how you answer the All-American.
I'm talking about.
Give me the ball. Woo! 77, 67, 33 or 23 yard. 33. 67 yard.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Draylen Miller doing Draylen Miller stuff. Look, there's a reason why our guy Greg Powers made him a 5-star in the summer after watching him at 7-on-7. He is a dynamic playmaker. By the way, some big news on him. He had just recently decommitted from Texas A&M.
Oh, wow.
Took an official visit to LSU. We'll see. He has not listed his new top or anything, or who's in the race now, but presumably LSU's up there. Of course, with Louisiana being so close to the Golden Triangle in that Beaumont area, you have to feel like they're definitely going to be in the running. But as you saw there, this kid is probably in my opinion, the best player in the state, pound for pound in the state right now, if not top 3.
So I know we were talking about this earlier before we had that big.
Yes.
There's going to be another blocked kick.
Okay, I was about to say, we'd have news again. It would only been 2 points that time, but I would have been like, what, are we seriously about to do this again?
Wow. So it's a 20-7 lead now for Silsby. And before Hampshire Fette got that touchdown, you were talking about how Silsby kind of finding a way to win in a different manner.
Yeah.
And that coaching staff, we were talking about, getting into the postseason, you got to think that Randy Smith and that coaching staff are happy with this team finding different ways to win, not just relying on kind of blowouts to get those wins.
Yeah, I do want to mention, you mentioned Randy Smith just finding different ways. They haven't played a close game.
Yeah.
Right? So, the one time they get to with a team within one score of them, they find that extra gear, right? They get the ball to their dynamic playmaker, and he's able to bust this game back wide open. So we'll see. It's only a 2-score game, so it's not like the game's completely in their favor. But just when you thought the other team had a little bit of momentum, they were able to snatch it back, which I think that shows some resilience as well. And this is, like I said, this is looking like their biggest challenge by far this year, as we kind of expected.
And again, I'm sure the coaching staff loves to see a team that's used to being out multiple scores, big-time scores, finding a way to kind of break through a little bit of that adversity and get the ball in the hands of your big playmakers and rely on them to get a couple of scores in that second half. And again, going back to this one, you're talking about that insane stat. They're trying to hold on. And Denton Ryan is trying to hand Aledo their first district loss since 2007.
Yeah, Ryan's going to take over here. Just about a minute left in this one. Ryan's going to take over just shy of the 30, it looks like. And all of a sudden, this is a massive, massive game here. And we'll go right to the announcer audio.
Wants to throw, has time, pass is going to be incomplete. And it was dropped. Then McElroy on the coverage there, so it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. And now this is going to be interesting for Ryan because, again, they're not an explosive offense, but they can hit you with the big play. So the question is, they can be patient here because there's no time running off the clock, and they have all 3 of their timeouts, so they can still be judicious in some respects.
Yeah, they can. They can kind of still run their offense the way they've been doing, but the Bearcats have got to find a way to get pressure on Mussett. Don't let him get out of the backfield.
2nd and 10, Mussett to throw, fires up in the middle of the pass, is incomplete, and that was catchable. A little bit behind on Dillon, Arkansas, So it'll bring up now 3rd down and 10 coming up. And these are now gotta have it downs. Well, they're all gotta have it downs for each team. And so it's 3rd down and 10 for Ryan at its 27-yard line. 5 out of 11 on 3rd downs is Ryan tonight. But again, it doesn't matter what happens on 3rd down. If they don't convert, if they get minimal yardage, they have to go for it on 4th down. On 3rd down, Mussett to take the snap, wants to throw, pressure, flush to the right, avoids a tackler, now will run with it, and then he'll step out of bounds after a pickup of about maybe 4 yards to about the 31-yard line. Although officially given 3 to the 30-yard line, clock stops with 1:13 on the clock. And it'll be 4th down and 7, and here's your ball game, more than likely, because even if Aledo turns them over on downs, Ryan can still burn the timeouts. But we'll worry about that for later. 4th down and 7 coming up for Ryan at its 30-yard line. Have to get to the 37-yard line. Aledo defense has been pretty solid all night. Trips to the near side. Single setback to the left of Mussett, who wants to throw. Pass is caught for a 1st down, I think.
He dropped the ball.
They're going to call it incomplete. It's incomplete. He dropped the football. And Aledo holds. Aledo holds.
He had the 1st down. He just was not able to handle that catch there. Huge stop for the Bearcats defense, and they're going to have an opportunity to run the rest of the clock out here. Great. It wasn't always pretty, but the Bearcats have found a way in the end to get the stop when they needed it and give themselves the opportunity here to run this clock out.
All right, so the Bearcats will have a 1st and 10 at the Ryan 30-yard line. 1:08 to play in the game. Again, a big reminder, Ryan has all 3 of its timeouts. So Dave Hennigan, you expect him to burn all 3. Aledo needs to get 1 1st down, and this is officially in the books.
Ball security here is the name of the game if you're Aledo.
Again, no Ray Guillory. He went out earlier in this quarter. Hawk Daniels is in the backfield. Haas Haney is the running back, and it'll be a give to Hawk Daniels, and he gets a yard to the 29-yard line, and then Dave Hennigan burns his 1st timeout with 1:03.
Yeah, that's it.
Are you okay?
It's just, you got to find a way to get a 1st down here, but they're going to be going for the ball.
Yeah.
And Aledo has put the ball on the ground several times tonight. And the only way Ryan can win this or have a shot right now is for you to give them the ball back on the turnover. So ball security.
So that streak staying alive for Aledo for at least another week.
Yep. I mean, well, honestly, I don't know. I saw the Miami game a couple weeks ago where they just handed the ball off as the time was going down, and Georgia Tech was able to strip it. So from what we know, from what's looking like right now, the streak continues. Incredible effort from Denton Ryan, and just an incredibly clutch play call there from Haas Haney as we go to the 5A D2 scores right now from around the state.
Yeah, just impressive. And take a look at some of these scores. Huntsville and Montgomery Lake Creek, a very close game. It's about the only close game we have tonight with some of the top teams in 5A D2.
Yeah, we're spoiled right now. Not every district game is going to be close.
Yeah.
And so we're spoiled with a lot of our picks tonight, which is why you should subscribe to Texan Live.
Every week we seem to have again, that goes to the producers, Mallory Hartley, Ashley Pickle. They pick the winners. We always get some good ones on the show. Now 5A D1, of course, Aledo. Oh, they'll keep that streak alive. Just very impressive.
Yeah, and then of course Baytown Lee was keeping it close to Port Arthur Memorial. Titans look like they're going to hold on to that one as well. I mentioned Red Oak earlier in that district with Midlothian, and Lake Belton, of course, taking care of business with Killeen. If both them take care of business, them being Midlothian and Red Oak, of course, they set up a de facto district championship in the final week.
Of course, that final week is going to be a lot of fun here on Texas football tonight. It's just getting everything set up for the postseason there, week 11. Oh, we still got a few weeks to go.
Yeah.
But again, just peeking ahead a bit of that week 11 is going to be a lot of fun here on the show. In this game, Brock up 26-14 here in the 4th.
I feel like
the biggest play of the game for this Paradise offense, no doubt. Iglesias rolling out to his left. Looking downfield, trying to reverse fields again. Backyard football. Looking downfield, and he'll fire, and it's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, number 0, Isaiah Jennings. Be 4th down and 10. The incompletion stopping the clock. 8 minutes, 3 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. Brock leading by 12. See what Paradise elects to do here. Down 12, but over 8 minutes left to go in the game. Brock not sending Matlock back deep to return a potential punt. Looks like they will do the quick kick from Iglesias. And it's a nice punt. Lands at the 32, or 37 rather, and rolls all the way down to the Brock 22-yard line.
The first down now. They'll go quarterback.
11:45 in the 4th quarter. Tigers lead 20-7. You're just joining us. Longhorns are driving again. 1st and goal from the 9. They'll go trips right. Augustine in the backfield as they'll bring Zeno in motion. Gonna roll Bryson right, looking to dump it to the end zone. Does flip it to the back, but out of bounds. Great coverage by
Boy, with a play made.
So this has been a fun one. A defensive struggle going into overtime.
Got another tush push, second of the night. We're spoiled.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We got to get a compilation of those.
A little tally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little counter in the corner. Put it.
I'm down for that.
Wait, where are we going? Right here. Put it in the
somewhere
corner
right
somewhere.
There.
Yeah.
There we
right
go.
over here.
I know how to angle.
There we go.
This
I'm trying to figure it
orientation.
out. That's only week number 9. I
Yeah,
should
it's
know
fine.
how. But yeah, tush push counter over here.
I love assigning our producers work. Hey, can we get a thing right there?
And earlier in the show again, telling the broadcasters to get the press box food.
Yes,
pictures
the press box
going.
food eats. Yes.
Yeah. Press box eats. There we go.
We're just having a production meeting right now.
Yeah,
actually,
exactly.
Just like on the air. So
live in front of everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is wow. I mean, we get some overtime going here.
Ooh. Did you get there?
It's close. Maybe
at
just
the one.
yeah. Man, how about? I mean, again, we're spoiled. We always get some great games. We haven't had a whole lot of overtime games. Or
Yeah, I was about to say,
is this our first?
It might be, because I think we had a late game. The Denton Ryan game was a late game.
Yeah.
It wasn't an overtime game. So I think it's been.
This is history.
I like it. Is it the first one? Is this history?
I think so. I'm not getting any correction in our ear. So I think this is our first. There we go. We just got confirmation.
There we go. First
You're
overtime
part of
game.
history if you're watching right now.
Tonight.
Yeah.
If you like it, subscribe. That was very threatening, but
well.
I'm excited. So
yeah.
that's how it goes.
Man, so again, just every week we get some exciting games. We got our first overtime game, but this has been such a fun week number 9 with a couple of games that frankly have been a little bit surprising.
Yeah, a little bit surprising. Some defensive struggles as well, as we're seeing one now in overtime. We're trying to see how that one pans out. I think Pearland and Dawson struck first with their tush push touchdown.
It's number 2 on the night that we've
number
seen on the show.
Number two. But I will say, I want to give. Did you?
Yeah, just in the
just a little bit
right there.
I do want to say, so I haven't given my subscribe spiel.
Oh, okay, here we go.
If you've enjoyed watching the games that we've had on air, if you wanted to watch Micah Hudson versus Bryant Wesco yourself, right? TexasFootball.com/subscribe or TexanLive.com and hit subscribe. Get all these games. You can go back and watch Micah Hudson versus Bryant Wesco if you want. You can go back and watch Brock versus Paradise if you want. Any of these games. Next week, you can also get those big games that we're going to be talking about, right? So I'm going to say right now, subscribe if you've enjoyed, or if you just want to stop hearing us and listen to the announcers for the full game, subscribe.
But yeah, some big games next week.
Yes.
Especially 6A. Let's take a look at some of those scores.
Yes.
Duncanville 49-3 over Dallas Skyline. They've got a big matchup next week-ish.
Yes, DeSoto and Duncanville play next week. Of course, Cedar Hill gave DeSoto a pretty good run. But yes, this is the District of Doom clash, number 1 versus number 3 in Class 6A.
Whew. Yeah, so Cedar Hill kept it pretty close with DeSoto. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to have some very exciting games next week. And one of our spotlight games this week, we were looking at, of course, Silsby And that's been a crazy one going into that second half. We had a blocked field goal returned all the way, but Silsby trying to stay undefeated in a showdown of undefeated teams tonight, as Gavin Moritz was able to sit down earlier this week with Randy Smith to talk about his program ahead of that big showdown between two undefeated programs.
Silsby, Texas, simply put, is a town crazy about football. And now here in 2023, the Tigers, led by head coach Randy Smith, face their biggest challenge of the season against undefeated Hampshire Fette.
As someone that grew up in Giddings, the small-town charm of Silsby is a big reason why Randy Smith was drawn to come lead the Tigers.
Reasons why I took this job 8 years ago. I had a son at the time. He was in the second grade, and we were in the Cy-Fair school district where I was office coordinator at Cy Ranch, and while that was a really good situation and everything about the way they do things over there is top notch, I really wanted my son to grow up in a town similar to what I grew up in, and this place is it's a lot like the Giddings I grew up in, where athletics is important. The school, you can do a whole lot of things and be involved in a whole lot of things in a school this size. You're not just limited to being a one sport athlete, or you can get involved in other things. And, it's a big deal. We try to encourage and be good in everything we do here, from academics to athletics. So, that's a big part of why I came here.
As offensive coordinator at Cy Ranch during the Mustangs' 2014 run to state, Coach Smith still cherishes that experience almost 10 years later.
Yeah, it's a big deal. There's a lot of people coach their whole career and, never get to experience that. And so that was a really neat situation. We had a really good group of kids, that battled through a really tough playoff run that year. And those kids worked extremely hard to get to that point. And really one of the things I learned being at Cy Ranch was how hard you really had to work and how hard kids were capable of working to get to that level. And that's something we've tried to carry over here and how we practice and what we do and how we do off season. Coach Gene Johnson was the head coach over there at Cy Ranch, and we really worked the kids hard and they really played hard. And I just learned that, you could play. Kids were capable of so much more, regardless, of their athletic ability or how, where their backgrounds were, any of that stuff. They were capable of doing so much more. And, that's something we tried to carry over here.
The Silsby Tigers have made the postseason every year under Randy Smith, largely due to the players, staff, and community buying in.
Well, there's been a lot of learning. We've learned kind of what works here and what doesn't, in terms of how we organize some things with our athletic periods and practices and all those things. But, Silsby's always a place where I think you can be competitive. We've just tried to take it, to another level. And we've had really good kids that bought in. Your coaches and your kids have to buy into what you're doing. It doesn't matter what offense or defense or any of that stuff that you're doing. Your coaches and kids have to buy into that, and they have. And it's helped. We've had great support from our administration and getting things set up at the middle schools and all those things. That all has carried over and led to our success.
The 2023 Tigers, of course, are led by highly touted wide receiver Draylen Miller, who has been successful both on the field and in the classroom.
Yeah, Draylen, you're not going to find a better kid. And we've got a whole bunch of good kids that are seniors right now. We have 26, 27 seniors on our football team right now, and they're all really good kids. But Draylen's just one of those kids. He's an unbelievable athlete. He's a really, really good player. But on top of that, he's a really, really good person. And one of the things that I talk to younger kids about this, because, they all know. We go down, to the elementary school or to the junior high, they all know who Draylen Miller is. But one of the things I talk to them about is, hey, go look at his grades. He makes straight A's, and he's a guy that had offers from all over the country in even prestigious academic schools because he took care of his business in the classroom. And so, that's something that he's super easy to coach. People always ask me that. He's super easy to coach. He does what you ask him to do. At the same time, he's a very much team player, You know, he's a super team player, and you know, it's just fun being around him. We're gonna, you know, we got to take advantage of, you know, the next several weeks here of being around him, because you don't get to coach many like him.
With so much attention given to the offense, Silsby's defense giving up roughly 10 points per game this year is something the Tigers pride themselves on.
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, that's always been – that's one of the things that was a big part of when I came here that we do, that you know, we're going to stress defense. And then when we practice and everything that we do, we're always going to do defense first. I kind of was brought up that way in coaching, even though I'm an offensive guy. And so, you know, it was like today in practice, we're going to go out there and we're going to work, you know, our first 20, 25 minutes of practice every day. We're going to go out there and work defense. And, you know, that's just the mindset. I believe you got to be able to play defense to win championships. And I believe you got to run the ball to win games, and you got to be able to throw the ball to win them all. And you know, I just think our kids have bought into that. We've played really well defensively this year. Coach Harrison and our defensive coaches have done a great job preparing our kids every week. We've gotten some really good play from our front seven, and then I think our secondary is as good as anybody in Class 4A. So, you know, our kids have played really well on defense. We just got to continue to play and play 1-0. You know, we're talking to our kids every week about we just got to go 1-0 every week, and that's really all we're focused on.
Heading into the matchup of the year against undefeated Hampshire Fette, Randy Smith knows that the Longhorns won't be an easy win.
Well, I was just looking at tape this morning. You know, they're extremely. They've got some guys over there that can run. They really do, and I'm impressed with them on both sides of the football. You know, defensively, they play really well. They line up well. They tackle extremely well. They're the best tackling team that we have played so far. You know, I'm real impressed with their two corners. They got two really good corners. You know, and some of those guys play offense too. Offensively, their quarterback's thrown for a lot of yards. Of course, they've got the Zeno kid at receiver who's can play quarterback too. So, you know, he's somebody you got to keep your eyes on. They're big up front, you know, and so, you know, we've got our hands full, and we've played them in really close ball games. I believe just about every year that I've been here, you know, it's come down to the fourth quarter, and so we're excited to get to play them at home this year. We've played them on the road 2 years in a row, so we're excited to get to play at home, but we know it's going to be a really good football game.
Well, and again, a shout out to Gavin Moritz. Always does a fantastic job. Those sit downs with those coaches, highlighting those programs, some of those top players. Silsby looks like they're going to go on to win. They're up 26-14 late in the fourth quarter. So it looks like they'll stay undefeated. Yep. That was one of our spotlight games. All right, it should put a bow on it. We had some very fun games again tonight to wrap up week number 9.
Yeah, very fun games, as we mentioned, with some very pivotal moments as well. We almost saw Alito's district streak, but I think we did also see some potential big matchups be set up. You mentioned Duncanville DeSoto. Katy Tompkins and Katy Jordan potentially play for that last playoff spot in that district. I believe that's District 19. So this week was like a perfect setup week to now. There's no more mess ups, right? Yeah. There's no more mulligans. Everything the next couple weeks, everything is going to finally culminate. This is when like coaches are starting to look at like other scores to be like, all right, let's see the other score, what's going on, you know? So this is a perfect setup week to now end the season, a regular season, I should say, on a potentially a high note. So it's been a fun one, but now this only gets me more excited for next week and the next couple weeks.
Man, yeah, 2 weeks left and some huge showdowns throughout the next 2 weeks. It is going to be a lot of fun. Join us for that. Again, a couple of big showdowns for next week. But thank you so much for joining us for week number 9. It was another great matchup, or another great slate of matchups. We saw some great highlights. A couple of the tush-push scores that we saw earlier tonight. Some great plays by the defense. We got a blocked field goal returned all the way. A little bit of everything tonight during week number 9. So again, we hope you had as much fun watching it as we had here in the studio. And join us next week. But again, for our producers, Mallory Hartley, Ashley Pickle, for our director, Blaine Tatum, and for Ish Johnson, I'm Nick Laupia saying good night and enjoy your weekend.